On the front line, the war between several countries continues. However, it was originally a melee between the three kingdoms, but due to the two sniper teams organized by Orochimaru, the Suna ninja temporarily withdrew from the battlefield. Of course, the ninjas from all countries did not return to defense, but stationed themselves at the borders of their own countries. Because everyone knows that once the war starts, there will definitely be an outcome. The small fights before were just appetizers for various countries. On the other side, the Iwa ninja village was curious about the Suna ninja's sudden withdrawal from the battlefield, but they didn't care. Because it is a local war now, everyone's casualties are not large. Since the casualties are not big, let's just waste it. Because of this, Orochimaru took some time off during this period. As long as the battle situation is not particularly urgent, cutting-edge combat forces like him and Jiraiya have no special tasks. At night, under a big tree outside the camp, after having dinner, Orochimaru leaned against the trunk of the big tree alone, looking at the stars in the sky and thinking about his own problems. He has long been accustomed to thinking in this way, because the quiet night sky at night will make his heart calm. I have to say, the sky in this world is really beautiful. There is no car exhaust, no factory pollution, and no all kinds of smog. The stars were shining brightly in the sky. From this aspect, it does seem to be much better than my own world. It would be even more perfect if you could do whatever you want. When he thought of this, Orochimaru couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Unfortunately, the speed of my growth is too slow. It will take some time to reach this level. Senjutsu, Kaleidoscope, Samsara I, Six Paths Power, Eternal Life. This is the power Orochimaru currently wants to obtain. What? Eternal life too? Isn't this what the original Orochimaru pursues? Orochimaru just wanted to say, who wouldn't want something like this? Even if he is no longer the Orochimaru he used to be, he still wants to live forever. But for him, there are currently only two ways to obtain eternal life. The first type is the well-known reincarnation of the corpse. A technique that transfers the spirit, soul, into another person's body to obtain eternal life. However, this technique has a drawback, which is the problem of matching the soul with the body. If the soul does not match the body, it is easy to produce rejection reactions. At that time, I am afraid that I will have to change my body frequently like the original Orochimaru. As a result, not only will one not be able to inherit his enhanced body, but it will also easily lead to problems with his mental energy. Therefore, Orochimaru's heart at this time is more inclined to the second type. That is to use the gene fusion fluid to fuse the genes of Otsutsuki Kagaya, the ancestor of the ninja world, to gain eternal life. Fusion of Kagaya's genes? This method is very risky. Because if you want to obtain Kagaya's genes, you must first release Kagaya. Who is Kagaya? He is the ancestor of the ninja world and the true god of the ninja world. It's a real big boss. But this method is safer for Orochimaru. Because he remembered that Otsutsuki Kagaya was not a mortal, but a true god. Even the Sage of Six Paths didn't fully inherit her power. Her lifespan is very long. Although it may not be infinite, it should be no problem to live for at least several thousand years. As long as he fuses her genes, he can live for thousands of years even without changing his body. As for Kagaya's great power, this Orochimaru is not worried. Because he can completely use his ability to predict and control the time of Kagaya's resurrection. As long as all resources are used properly, even without Naruto and Sasuke, the savior, he can still control the overall situation. Of course, the premise is that you must be strong enough to be able to control the overall situation. Hey, what are you thinking about here alone? The crisp voice interrupted Orochimaru's thoughts, and what followed was the familiar girl's body fragrance. Don't think about anything. Have you finished preparing the antidote? Tsunade naturally sat next to Orochimaru. When she heard his words, she smiled. The preparation has been completed a long time ago. With my current ability, it is not easy to prepare ordinary antidote. Right. Orochimaru smiled faintly and was about to say something, but he felt Tsunade naturally lean on his shoulder. Although Tsunade is now wearing a jounin vest, the unique touch on the woman's body still makes Orochimaru think more. Orochimaru. That, I want to ask you something. What's up? That is, are you not interested in me? Not interested? How to say? Hearing this, Orochimaru was stunned, and subconsciously glanced at Tsunade next to him. At this time, Tsunade's face was slightly red, and her eyes were a little dodgeful. It was obvious that she was no longer as bold as before. From her expression, it could be seen that is she serious this time? That is. Tsunade was a little hard to say. What is it? Orochimaru asked knowingly. Of course he understood what Tsunade was saying, but there were some things that he couldn't show too clearly. You should know. Tsunade mustered up her courage, and her face suddenly turned redder. Because this question did not come to her suddenly, but was the result of her careful consideration after Orochimaru left. You must know that she is not the sad Tsunade now. But a normal woman. When she saw other ninjas in pairs on the streets of Konoha village, she would inevitably think too much. Why didn't Orochimaru take any initiative towards her? It was because he had a bad temper. Qualifications? Or is it because the two are too familiar to cross the line? Or as Jiraiya said, is it because nothing happened between them? So they are not really boyfriend and girlfriend? Don't look at Tsunade, who usually doesn't care. But she would still think a lot when she calmed down, and once these questions appeared, they would linger in her mind. So she wanted to ask Orochimaru clearly. But she had never found the opportunity before. Until just now, the configuration was completed after the antidote came out. She saw Orochimaru sitting alone under a tree, so she seized the opportunity and came over. Seeing Tsunade's shy look, Orochimaru subconsciously stretched out his white palm and put it on Tsunade's face. Toppo, you are thinking too much, how could I not be interested in you? I just didn't have the time before. So, you also like me. Tsunade was slightly happy and didn't care at all about Orochimaru's hand on her face. She was sure that this was the first time in so many years that Orochimaru personally admitted their relationship. Certainly. What do you like me? Orochimaru slowly put down his hand. At this moment, his brain suddenly shut down. He swore that he really didn't know how to answer this question. Because he has no experience in this area. Now he is no longer the Orochimaru in the original novel, so he will naturally be interested in women. But Tsunade was right to ask. What do you like about her? Looks and figure? Maybe a little. Because Tsunade's appearance and figure are natural, she is a man who would like her if he saw her. Can you talk about other aspects, such as personality? Tsunade really didn't dare to compliment her. A good drinker, a gambler, and a bad temper. From a modern perspective, there are only 4 words to describe it. Not a good match. But thinking about it carefully, it doesn't seem to be a problem. Because although Tsunade has a hot temper, she has always been very gentle when facing Orochimaru in private. It seems that there is no special reason. It took a long time before Orochimaru could hold back these few words. Although Orochimaru really needs a woman to vent his desire, he still has feelings for Tsunade. No reason? Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then lay happily in Orochimaru's arms. Hey, Orochimaru, I like your answer. Is this the answer? Orochimaru was a little surprised. His white fingers picked up Tsunade's brown hair in his arms and let her hair flow through his fingers. Suddenly, he felt an unprecedented feeling, filled within his heart. Perhaps. Orochimaru paused when he said this. It is very impolite to eavesdrop on others, are you right? Jiraiya. Well? Ha ha ha, sorry, I didn't mean to eavesdrop on your romance, Jiraiya scratched his hedgehog-like white hair and walked out from behind the tent on the side with an awkward smile. Seeing Jiraiya, Tsunade looked depressed. Jiraiya, what are you doing? Want? Forget it, Tsunade, don't you know this guy has always liked you? Well. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but smile. Oh, Jiraiya, didn't I say that we won't? It's impossible for us. I know. Jiraiya took the conversation and waved his hand in a pretentious manner. Well, I promise I won't bother you again in the future. With that said, Jiraiya turned around decisively, leaving the two of them with a handsome back view. He just turned around with an unusually uncomfortable expression. Although he had been mentally prepared for it, after all, this was the first time he had seen it with his own eyes as an adult. This feeling, I really want to cry, do you? Okay, Jiraiya, since you are here, just stay for a while, I have something to ask you. Something's wrong? What's up? Something about magic. Orochimaru suddenly spoke, leaving Tsunade and Jiraiya stunned at the same time. However, the two of them obviously noticed the seriousness in Orochimaru's tone, but immortal magic. Obviously, they didn't know why Orochimaru suddenly asked this. Orochimaru nodded slightly and looked at Jiraiya. Yes, Jiraiya, you don't want to discuss this issue from such a distance, do you? Hearing Orochimaru's words, Jiraiya took a look at the surrounding situation. Although he is at the edge of the camp, there is no one around. But it is really not appropriate to discuss senjutsu from such a distance. Thinking of this, Jiraiya had to explain what he just said. Putting the sadness behind, he walked over and leaned against the tree trunk next to Orochimaru. Orochimaru, why do you ask this suddenly? Tell me first, have you learned the magic of immortality now? This. To be honest. Orochimaru reminded. Anyway, it's not a secret that you have been learning senjutsu before. Hearing what Orochimaru said, Jiraiya looked helpless. This, okay, I'll be honest, I said, that, return, still a little short of that. Jiraiya was a little embarrassed, for fear that Orochimaru would laugh at him. But Orochimaru had no such intention. Haven't learned it yet, what reason? Orochimaru was a little puzzled. Remember, this guy has been learning senjutsu on and off for more than 10 years, right? He hasn't learned it yet? Didn't Naruto only use it for a few weeks? No matter how big the gap between the two is, it won't be like this, right? Listen, right? When Orochimaru asked, Jiraiya became even more embarrassed. Check, not enough chakra. Not enough chakra. Orochimaru raised his eyebrows. Good. Jiraiya smiled bitterly and nodded. You haven't learned it yet, so you don't know that senjutsu requires natural energy mixed with your own chakra to turn it into senjutsu chakra. If the amount of chakra is not enough, it is easy to be swallowed by natural energy due to the wrong ratio of natural energy and chakra. I have been practicing to increase the amount of chakra before, and the potion you gave me also helped me a lot, but judging from the current situation, it is still a little bit behind. Is that so? Following Jiraiya's narration, Orochimaru also had a basic understanding. Ninjas rely on chakra in their bodies to activate ninjutsu. Ordinary chakra is obtained by mixing their own physical energy and spiritual energy, while senjutsu chakra it is formed by absorbing natural energy and fusing it perfectly. But to maintain the balance of the three forces, each must be 1/3 before it can be activated. If it exceeds 1/3, it will be swallowed by the power of nature. If it is less than 1/3, it cannot become a fairy mode. Therefore, if you want to activate the magic, the ratio of physical energy, mental energy, and natural energy should be 1:1:1. In other words, the ratio of natural energy and the ratio of carats is 1:2. A normal ninja, no matter how strong his control is, cannot be 100% accurate, so this explains why people who practice celestial magic must have a huge amount of chakra. Because only in the face of such a huge amount of chakra can those subtle errors be ignored. Perhaps this is also the reason why the original Orochimaru did not learn senjutsu. He has poor physical fitness, insufficient chakra, and cannot meet the standards for controlling natural energy. Naturally, he cannot learn senjutsu. As for Jiraiya, although his chakra volume is also huge, he is still a civilian ninja. Compared with Naruto from the Uzumaki clan, he is not at the same level. Therefore, Jiraiya is slow to learn senjutsu. After that, it was not as perfect as Naruto's sage mode. Thinking of this, Orochimaru nodded slightly, and then looked at Tsunade. Tsunade, what about you? Why don't you know magic? Although the three of them grew up together, this is the secret of the ninjas themselves, so the three of them have not discussed these issues before. And Orochimaru, who does not have this information in his memory, is very confused about it, but he has also been keeping it due to privacy issues. Didn't ask. The reason why he asked now was because he suddenly thought of something and wanted to confirm it. As for why he asked Tsunade if she knew magic, instead of asking her if Shijulin had magic, that's because he knows that there are 3 holy places for cultivating immortals. Rika Cave has immortal arts, Miyamu Mountain also has immortal arts, and Tsunade's Shigu Forest naturally also has immortal arts. Tsunade was a little embarrassed when I signed the contract with Slug. I heard about this immortal mode, but I am not suitable for practicing this, so I didn't ask any more questions. Tsunade didn't mean to hide her secrets and directly told her secret. Because of the current situation, senjutsu is an open secret between the 3 people, so there is nothing hard to say. But after hearing this, Orochimaru is frowning again. Is it not suitable? Can there really be such a thing as not suitable? It seems that some people are suitable to use the immortal mode, and some are not suitable. For example, in the original work, Feng Shuman can also use it, but he said that the immortal method it is what he is least good at, and his efficiency is extremely low. It seems that he must have succeeded in practicing it reluctantly. Is it really not suitable? No. It should still be a problem of chakra content. Thinking of this, Orochimaru quickly said, Tsunahand, you channel the slug now and ask. Do you want to confirm something? Good. Oh well. Tsunade didn't ask Orochimaru what he wanted to confirm, because there was no need at all. Blood, seals. Psychic techniques. Bang. After a cloud of white smoke, a slug about the size of a hand appeared in front of the 3 of them. This is not the first time Orochimaru has seen this thing. Although this thing is a slug, it looks cute. His voice is also very sweet. Hello, Tsunade-sama. Tsunade stretched out her hand and let the slug crawl onto her arm and asked, Slug, let me ask you, how do you practice the magic of Shijulin? Immortal magic. When the little slug heard this, it was obviously stunned, and then looked at Orochimaru and Jiraiya next to it. Obviously, it had concerns about Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Although it also knew that the 3 of them had grown up together. But the magic of immortality belongs to the secrets of the major holy places. Is it appropriate for the inheritors of other holy places to know about the things of my own holy land? Don't worry, Slug, even if you tell us the method, we can't learn it even if we can't find the Shigu forest, right? Orochimaru seemed to see Slug's concerns and explained directly. Indeed, ordinary ninjas who want to learn the magic of the 3 holy places must go to the holy places to learn how to sense natural energy. Otherwise, everyone can sense it out of thin air. Natural energy, is that okay? Slug, just say it. After receiving Tsunade's order, and the little slug seemed to think that Orochimaru was right, he began to answer Tsunade's questions, with a very sweet voice. Yes, Tsunade-sama. The prerequisite for practicing in the immortal mode of Shigu Forest is to have a huge amount of chakra, at least 10 times the amount of chakra that Master Tsunade has now, and then the special medium of Shigu Forest to sense natural energy. 10 times the amount of chakra? It has exceeded the amount of chakra required by Jiraiya Myabokuzen, and also requires a special medium like Myabokusan toad oil. Orochimaru nodded slightly, with a judgment in his mind. Let me ask you another question. The first Hokage, Tsunade's grandfather Hashirama-sama, did he also learn his senjutsu in your Shimagun forest? Senjutsu is a state in which one can use senjutsu chakra. The power is several times or even dozens of times that of the normal state, and it can also give oneself supersensory abilities. The reason why Orochimaru suddenly asked about senjutsu was because when he thought about power just now, he suddenly thought of a very important question. That is, can I learn the magic of the first Hokage? You know, Orochimaru himself is the inheritor of Rika Cave. And what the first Hokage used was most likely the immortal technique of the Shikibone forest. If this is the case, then wouldn't it be impossible for him to learn the ultimate moves of the first Hokage? Yes. Sure enough, as if to confirm Orochimaru's conjecture, Slug said this answer simply. And this answer was indeed what Orochimaru expected. In his memory, there are immortals in the three holy places Mt Miyamu and Rika Cave. Technique, and Shijulin did not clearly state whether it does. But Senju Hashirama knows senjutsu. And he did not clearly indicate where his senjutsu came from. Combined with the relationship between Senju Hashirama and Tsunade, the answer is indeed it makes sense. But just because of this, what should I do? According to the performance of Jiraiya, Naruto, the first Hokage and Sennin Kabuto in my memory, it can be seen that the power of the magic of the three holy places is definitely different. If the first Hokage's celestial arts came from the Shimagun forest, so we can confirm some information. First of all, the celestial arts of the three major holy places require a huge amount of chakra. This is for sure. The amount of chakra required by the Shimagun forest should be higher than that of Mt Miyamu. More. No, it should be more than Rika Cave and Miyamu Mountain. As for the effect, Shijulin Immortal Technique prefers actual attack and recovery power. Of course, recovery power goes without saying, the actual attack is Myojin Gate, and there are literally thousands of hands transforming into a Buddha on the top and so on. The Rika Cave is biased towards energy attack and perception ability. Needless to say, perception ability, energy attacks include light, sound and mental power attacks, etc. As for Miyamu Mountain, it is in a balanced state. There are all kinds of attack methods, and they are relatively balanced. Since the effects of magic in the three holy places are different, what is the reason for the difference? Is it because the natural energy absorbed is different? Or is it just because the magic used is different? If the natural energy absorbed is not same, then it is very likely that I will not be able to learn the wood release senjutsu of the first Hokage. Because it is difficult for one inheritor to inherit the senjutsu of two holy places. But if the natural energy absorbed is the same kind of energy, then there is a question of whether you can learn the immortal technique of wood release. As long as you learn the immortal technique of Rika Cave, you can develop it on your own. Forget it, let the slug go back first. Orochimaru waved his hand. It seems that he can't be sure of the answer in his mind just by dictating it. He still has to find a chance to try it himself. The magic of the three holy places is not suitable for people other than the three ninjas. It is said that it is extremely difficult to obtain one of them. But for the three of them, it is just that the relationship is not in place. Orochimaru, what on earth do you want to do? Jiraiya looked confused. Nothing, just asking. Orochimaru said perfunctorily. He didn't talk much. After he finished speaking, he directly drew out a scroll and channeled 4 potions from it. 2 light green and 2 dark green. This is... Jiraiya's eyes lit up. Tsunade was also stunned. This thing is too familiar to them. Orochimaru said calmly, take it, use the light green one first, and use the dark green one after at least 1 month. Each of you takes one of the 2 potions. It may not be enough for Tsunade to learn senjutsu, but it should be enough. You Jiraiya have learned senjutsu, But, didn't you say that this potion has no effect if it is used repeatedly? Jiraiya, you can tell by looking at the color that the grade is different, right? Tsunade rolled her eyes at Jiraiya. The one they used before was light green, and these two, one light green and one dark green, are obviously different. Can't this guy see it? In fact, where is Jiraiya? Can't see it? He just can't believe his eyes. Because he didn't lie just now, he was really close to learning immortal magic. The amount of chakra is too small, and the ratio of this to natural energy is true it was difficult to master. However, how difficult was it to change the physique and increase the amount of chakra? Just rely on practice. He knew very well how slow the speed was. Especially after trying Orochimaru's primary gene enhancement liquid, he felt even more practicing this method to increase the amount of chakra is slow. In the past, if he wanted to increase the amount of chakra by 30%, it would take at least 1 or 2 years. Moreover, it was still in the period of physical growth. But Orochimaru completed it in 10 minutes, and also allowed him to grow chakra faster than before in the following days. This was a speed that he could not imagine at all. Therefore, he had always hoped that Orochimaru could conduct more advanced research so that he would not have to do it every day. He had spent several hours practicing hard. After all, a person who had enjoyed the convenience of riding a car saw that the road ahead was so long and far away. If there was no other way, how could he choose to walk again? But Orochimaru remained silent afterwards. It's not easy for him to ask too many questions. I didn't expect that today. It's incredible, Orochimaru. Jiraiya got 2 of his own and looked at them. But, have you told the village about these things? Do you think I have time to talk? Orochimaru didn't answer and asked, and even if you say it, it doesn't mean anything. Why? There are only a few of these made in total. Orochimaru didn't bother to explain. He was in trouble every time he explained the origin of these things. Simply blame these things on the lack of rare materials. Anyway, some raw materials cannot be found. Orochimaru wasn't lying either. Besides, in Konoha village, whether you are willing to contribute your personal skills or not is purely voluntary. After all, this technology was not developed using the village's resources. No matter how awesome the village is, it can't force others to hand over scientific research technology, right? Like those families, did they contribute their secret skills? Therefore, if Orochimaru doesn't want to hand over these technologies, no one can do anything about them. Jiraiya naturally understood this. He had just asked subconsciously, but now that he heard Orochimaru's answer, he simply shut up. Moreover, his attention was quickly attracted by the 2 potions in his hands, and even the pain caused by his broken love was forgotten by him. I returned to my tent happily. Ha ha ha, Orochimaru is really awesome. I haven't seen him for a long time, and he did not disappoint. Well, as long as this potion is the same as the last potion and increased by 30%, no, increased by 20%, I will definitely be able to learn magic. While chanting, Jiraiya skillfully opened the potion and prepared to use it. When he thought, it was wrong. This thing seems to be used to remove impurities. How could such a smelly thing be discharged into his tent? Thinking of this, he hurriedly took it, taking the medicine and running towards the river nearest to the camp. 10 minutes later. Nani? 60%. Jiraiya was confused. Jiraiya's heart was filled with shock. With my current chakra amount, can I still increase it by 60%? This effect is at least 5 times stronger than the previous one. You know, how much chakra did he have when he used the first potion? What is the current amount of chakra? A 60% increase is definitely not as simple as doubling the data on the surface. Thinking of this, he subconsciously looked at the darker potion in his hand. The light green one is so awesome, so isn't this dark green one going to be great? However, he can't care so much now, because for him, mastering the magic is the most important thing. Thinking of this, Jiraiya washed his whole body, got dressed and returned to his small separate tent. He touched the blood on his face and put his palms together. 20 minutes later, 2 little toads stood on Jiraiya's shoulders, one on the left and one on the right. Little Jiraiya, why are you summoning us at such a late hour? I'm almost asleep. Damn it, this is fundamental isn't that the point? Hey? Little Jiraiya, have you finally succeeded? Yes, Jiraiya, what's going on? Remember, weren't you still a little behind before? This is a long story, so the 2 immortals should go to Miyama Mountain first and then explain it to you. Hearing this, the 2 little toads nodded, and then turned into 2 balls of white smoke and disappeared on Jiraiya's shoulders. A moment later, Jiraiya also disappeared into his tent. Orochimaru didn't know Jiraiya's current situation. I don't know how much chakra Jiraiya has increased. After all, this is not a big deal to him. The amount of chakra, for an average ninja, might feel like it's a lot more if it's twice or twice as much. But for people with special physiques, is it twice or twice more? Not much at all. You must know that the amount of chakra in the original Naruto is 100 times that of Kakashi. Even excluding the amount of chakra that suppresses the Kyuubi, it is 4 times that of Kakashi. In other words, even if Naruto throws away 96% of his chakra, he can still completely defeat Kakashi in this regard. So, double or whatever, it really doesn't mean anything. Moreover, Orochimaru had also calculated that the average person's body would be like that even after advanced enhancement. After all, heredity is more important than genes. Aren't the genes of an ordinary person, even after advanced enhancement, still the genes of an ordinary person? At most, it's just an ordinary person's gene with a higher intensity. High-strength ordinary people's genes are still scum compared to people who are born with immortal genes. This night, everyone had a great time chatting. And after the chat just now, Orochimaru also had his own ideas. I have to find time to find Longdi Cave. After all, Senjutsu is one of the few techniques that can hurt the Otsutsuki clan. Learn it as soon as possible and feel more at ease. Orochimaru, thank you. Seeing the 2 potions in her hand, Tsunade looked grateful. After all, she knew how precious these things were before anyone else. You are welcome. How do you want me to repay you? Tsunade smiled playfully. Orochimaru looked indifferent. Just pledge yourself to me. Well? You guy, when did you say such a thing? You're not the one who transformed from Jiraiya, are you? Tsunade looked at Orochimaru up and down and said with some suspicion. Because in her impression, Orochimaru would never tease her in this regard. People will grow. Orochimaru curled up the corner of his mouth and raised Tsunade's chin with his white index finger again. There are many things that I didn't know before, but that doesn't mean I don't know now, do you think so? Tsunade. Right. Tsunade was caught off guard by Orochimaru, and even spoke a little unclearly, but, not in this camp. Hearing this, Orochimaru was also startled. It seems that you have been prepared for it a long time ago. When? Certainly. Tsunade pretended to be calm. I am your childhood sweetheart, isn't it natural for you to be aware of it? Orochimaru raised the corner of his mouth. That's right, I hope you won't back down then. Only, no way. Tsunade said without confidence. She considered herself Orochimaru's girlfriend, and she had indeed been prepared for it. Because she knew that the life of a ninja was short, and she might not be able to come back when she left. At her age, there is nothing wrong with finding a suitable person to accompany her. Especially since Orochimaru has been her spiritual sustenance since childhood. But she also knows that this is her first time. If she really gets here, if he takes another step, he will definitely be very nervous. This is a very contradictory psychology. Seeing Tsunade pretending to be bold, the special feeling in Orochimaru's heart becomes stronger and stronger. He believes that if it weren't for the fact that this place is On the front line, a mission may come at any time, and maybe he will choose to release his inner demon immediately. Tsunade was stared at by Orochimaru, her cheeks felt a little hot, and she quickly found an excuse to sneak back to the tent. Orochimaru smiled lightly and was about to get up. But at this time, I saw a bunch of bugs. Are you really here for the mission? The insect flew in front of him and laid out a few words. Seeing these words, Orochimaru frowned. I see. After the bugs dissipated, Orochimaru glanced at the patrolling ninjas not far behind him, walked over and said hello to them. Are you still going out so late? Lord Orochimaru. Well, go out and walk around. If a mission comes during this period, go find Tsunade. Yes, Lord Orochimaru. Orochimaru nodded, put his hands in his trouser pockets, and walked slowly outside the camp. The night was dark, but the moonlight gave him plenty of vision. Orochimaru didn't go in a special hurry, so he didn't walk fast. No. After walking for who knows how long, he arrived at a thatched house in the wilderness. Whoosh! A black shadow flashed out from the shadows next to him and punched Orochimaru in the back of the head. Orochimaru didn't even turn his head, and gave a slight. He dodged the opponent's punch by turning sideways. An attack at this speed has no effect on me. After saying that, he kicked the opponent's abdomen. Bang! Buzz! Buzz! The opponent turned into a lot of black bugs and scattered. Insect clone? Orochimaru just reacted, and dense black bugs clung to him. His feet quickly climbed up along the trouser legs and wrapped him up. Secret technique, parasitic bugs. A figure wearing a cloak and sunglasses slowly walked out from the side of the thatched cottage. Even if you, Orochimaru-sama, are trapped by my bugs, how come? You're not the only one who knows how to use clones, Abarame Ryoma. Abarame Ryoma, a member of the Abarame tribe who has entered the route. He was 4 or 5 years younger than Orochimaru and about the same age as Uchiha Fugaku. He has been in Gen for a long time. It can be said that he grew up listening to the legend of Orochimaru. Therefore, he, who is also a genius of the Abarame clan, has always wanted to challenge Orochimaru after he succeeded in his studies. But now, he looked at Orochimaru, who was gradually turning into a puddle of mud in front of him, and then at Orochimaru's body walking out of the darkness, and he couldn't help but frown. As expected of Lord Orochimaru, you actually knew that I would attack you early on. No, I don't know, I'm just used to being cautious. Is that so? Abarame Ryoma said calmly. However, the challenge is not over yet. No, it's over. Nani, when? Abarame Ryoma's expression changed as he wanted to attack again. Because he was shocked to find that he couldn't move his body? Body holding technique. When? You've been en route for so long, so you don't know about Xiao Hei's existence, right? I know, but how did it attack me? Why didn't I notice it at all? Due to Orochimaru's control, Abarame Ryoma can speak. However, he can't believe this fact. With his alertness, he can be attacked by this Black Snake god without knowing it. Are you kidding? Black Snake, while he was immobilized, he climbed on top of him. The master gave me the ability to anesthetize me. The anesthesia is very fast, so, if you are not paying attention, it will be difficult for you to notice that I bite you. Anesthesia capabilities. Abarame Ryoma was stunned. Is it the moment when I was attracted to the clone just now? But how did you get close to me? Hey, it's a secret. Okay, Orochimaru, put your black snake away. Ryoma, you also step back, you now cannot be Orochimaru's opponent. Danzo's voice sounded faintly from the thatched house. Yes, yes. Hearing Danzo's order, Abarame Ryoma replied respectfully. Orochimaru curled his lips, walked towards Abarame Ryoma, and slowly raised his hand. Black Snake received Orochimaru's order and obeyed. He crawled onto his body with his fingertips, and finally wrapped it around Orochimaru's left arm twice, and put the snake's head on his shoulder. with a well-behaved and flattering look. Orochimaru pushed the door open and entered with an indifferent expression. In addition to Danzo, there is also a masked Gen. Danzo-sama, are you looking for me so late? Danzo did not answer immediately, but looked at the Anbuu, go outside with Ryoma to be on guard. Yes. The Anbu took the order and left. On the way out, he helped Ryoma release the immobilization technique. Sensing that the two of them had gone far, Danzo spoke. Orochimaru, I've figured out how to get the Sharingan. Orochimaru was not surprised that Danzo came to find him. But Danzo came to him so late, which made people a little curious. You know, although Danzo is a root and is used to operating in secret, this is Konoha's military base after all. There was no need for him to be so secretive. However, after some discussion, he realized that Danzo's purpose of coming here was to introduce the Aberame Ryoma to Orochimaru. The other one was to tell Orochimaru how to obtain the Sharingan. This problem really cannot be known to others, or even that Danzo has been here, so he needs to come here secretly. The Uchiha who died on the battlefield. Good. Danzo nodded. This is the only way at the moment. You only need to tell me the Uchiha clan's mission route before each mission. Orochimaru shrugged. Okay, I have no problem. Then do it this way. The Uchiha clan is the largest clan in Konoha village. During this period, they were larger than the Hyuga clan. There are far more people in the clan who have Sharingan opened than the dozen or 20 that we saw before. With so many Uchihas who have opened their eyes going to the battlefield, it is inevitable that some of them will be sacrificed. Although these sacrificed Uchiha people will definitely be taken back by Konoha with all their strength. But the battlefield is chaotic, and it is not normal for some accidents to happen. Therefore, if Danzo wants to acquire Sharingan, the battlefield is indeed a good place. Of course, what method needs to be used to catch the eye? How do I need to save it? None of this has to do with Orochimaru. It was enough for him to tell Danzo the Uchiha mission route he knew before going to the battlefield. Anyway, it's just about taking the eyes of the dead, so Orochimaru doesn't feel any guilt. When Orochimaru returned to the camp, it was already the next morning. As soon as I came back, I received news that the IWA ninja was invading. So, Orochimaru rushed to the battlefield with Tsunade and Jiraiya without resting. With his current physical and mental strength, it wouldn't be a problem if he didn't sleep for a few days. A few days later, the Kingdom of Earth. Most of this country is made up of desolate rock walls. The rocks in the country seem to exist along the border, thus blocking the communication between the Earth country and other countries. Here, the wind blowing from the north will cross the mountains and blow small rocks from the country to other countries. The natural phenomenon called rock rain is very famous. At this time, in the land of Earth, Iwagakure village, a little old man wearing a divine robe was thinking about the situation of this war. Onoki, who was originally a bad old man, is now in his prime. At 46 years old, he looks majestic as a Tsuchikage. Looking at the battle report on his desk, Onoki fell into deep thought. Some time ago, the Suna ninja suddenly retreated. Others were a little confused about the reason, so they did not delve into it. But as a Tsuchikage, he is responsible for the life and death of the entire IWA ninja village, so naturally he will not let go of a possible doubt. Based on his understanding of the Sand Ninja, these guys would never retreat without any reason. There must be a certain reason for the sudden retreat now. But what is the reason? Onoki rubbed his temples, feeling a little headache. Report. A shout sounded from outside the office door, and then an IWA nin pushed the door in without consent. Lord Tsuchikage, urgent information came back from Suna Ninja village. Looking at the scroll sealed with red paint in the hands of this IWA ninja, Onoki's eyes froze. Information about Sand Ninja village? Or is it urgent? Present it. Urgent information from Sand Ninja village? There is no doubt that this is the news from the spies installed by the IWA Ninja Village in the Kingdom of Wind. Placing spies is an important means for ninjas to obtain intelligence from other countries. However, it is easy to place a spy in an enemy country, but to place it in a ninja village in an enemy country? It's almost impossible. Naturally, IWA Ninja Village is no exception. They do not have high-level spies like Nono and Kabuto Yakushi, so placing spies into enemy territory is already the limit. Because of this information came back a little late. Onaki opened the scroll and looked at it, and he was stunned. More than 100 sand ninjas were sacrificed inexplicably? How so? Report. Lord Tsuchikage, urgent battle report from the front line. Onoki frowned. Another emergency information. He took it over and took a look, and he was suddenly stunned. Discovered that Konoha developed a special weapon? The killing distance may be nearly 1,000 meters? Have you killed nearly 100 of us? Are you kidding me? It's absolutely true, Lord Tsuchikage. The IWA ninja gritted his teeth. From the eyes of this IWA ninja, Onaki saw hatred, but he had no time to ask about it. Because in his impression, there was no information about Konoha. Damn it, the guys from Konoha are really amazing. Come on, follow me to the front line. After receiving the news, Onaki couldn't sit still anymore, and immediately gathered his troops and rushed to the front line in person. There was no way, this situation was special, and he couldn't make an effective response without seeing it with his own eyes. As everyone knows, the people of the Kingdom of Wind, the third generation of Kazekage, also passed by in this way. You must know that they are Kage, an honorary title that only the ninja village of the great country is eligible to receive. As a man who has received the title of Kage, he must have strong character. Unless it is absolutely necessary, they will go to the battlefield in person. Just like the third Hokage of Konoha, haven't you seen him still smoking in Konoha? Therefore, they went to the front line this time because they were completely forced by Konoha's inexplicable attack method. And on the other side, Orochimaru, who was commanding his men to clean up the battlefield, was a little surprised. It seems that IWA Ninja Village still overestimated the speed of gathering intelligence. Originally, Orochimaru recovered the sniper rifle after defeating the Sand Ninja, just to prevent it from being taken away by the IWA Ninja the next time he used it. But when they came to face the IWA Ninja here, they found that they seemed a little bit you don't even know. Not only are the tactics the same as usual, but there is no special protective equipment. This is both expected and unexpected. But Orochimaru doesn't want to think about it so much. Since you have nothing, then of course he could start sniping unscrupulously. So, the two sniper teams went to the battlefield again, and the IWA Ninja soon followed the footsteps of the Sand Ninja. Unfortunately, the IWA Ninjas have more defensive skills than the Sand Ninja. After each sniper kills a few people, it is difficult to kill again. Because they only need to use chakra to cover the surface of the body with a layer of rock, which can provide effective protection from such a long distance. Therefore, there the casualties were much smaller than those of Suna Ninja. This result is still good. Just relying on these 8 weapons can defeat the people of 2 villages. Jiraiya, standing next to Orochimaru, said. He has seen the power of this thing, and he will not be surprised if it achieves such results again. Beat back? This is only temporary. After they understand the disadvantages of this thing, they will come back soon. Temporary? Indeed, ninjas' understanding of battle is indeed beyond the reach of ordinary people. Whether it is Sand Ninja or Rock Ninja. They only took less than a month's rest before entering the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain again. First the Sand Ninja, and then the Rock Ninja. For ninjas, a few sniper rifles are nothing. Once you understand the characteristics of these things, they will be broken for you in minutes. Whether it is the terrain or the equipment, or tactically, they can all be foolproof. Konoha Village, Coach's Tent. These guys are really annoying. Isn't it, like a fly, you can't even chase it away. How should we fight this time? I think we should let Lord Orochimaru give us the weapons and use the same tactics as last time to snipe them back. No, Orochimaru-sama's weapons can only be used for ambush, and the attack routes chosen by the enemy this time are all in jungle areas, which will not give us the chance to ambush from a distance. Right. It seems that we can only fight head-on. But if it's a head-on battle, the puppet master of Sand Ninja Village is still a problem. Just leave the puppet master to us. Well? Lord Jiraiya. Jiraiya curled his lips and said, I believe that as long as the enemy is not large in size, with the strength of the three of us, there will be no problem. But the poison of the Sand Ninja puppet master. I can detoxify. Tsunade looked calm and interrupted Nara's words. The antidote potion I made can remove all the toxins currently possessed by the Sand Ninja puppet master, unless they have new toxins. Tsunade's confident words made everyone stunned. Good, amazing. As expected of Lord Orochimaru's lover. Yes, both of them are outstanding. Perhaps only a woman like Lady Tsunade can be worthy of Lord Orochimaru. Haha, thank you, thank you. The crowd's praise for the two of them made Tsunade break through the power in a second, and her serious look immediately turned into an embarrassed smile. Seeing Tsunade's happy smile, Jiraiya was a little helpless, but he wasn't too sad. Because since he expressed his attitude that night, he had stopped thinking about Tsunade. Orochimaru is not only very strong, he can also do research. He is indeed more suitable for Tsunade than himself. Especially the things he researched. Although strange and weird, they are very effective, and even he has benefited a lot. If it can be mass-produced and popularized, it will definitely change the entire ninja world. Hey! Change the ninja world? Damn it! When Jiraiya thought of this, a flash of light suddenly flashed in his mind, and he looked at Orochimaru next to him dumbfounded. Isn't this guy the son of the prophecy that Toad Sage said? The man who can reform the entire ninja world? But just the next second, Jiraiya denied his guess. No, that's not right. Immortal Toad clearly said that the son of prophecy will be his disciple. And will Orochimaru be his disciple? Certainly not. So, this is obviously impossible. Orochimaru didn't know what Jiraiya was thinking, but when he saw this guy staring at him with strange eyes, he couldn't help but feel confused. What's wrong? Without, fine. Jiraiya quickly laughed. No matter how crazy Jiraiya is about prophecies like this, he won't tell anyone about it. Time passed by, the meeting ended quickly, and everyone had a clear division of labor. Detective of detectives, responsible for getting ready for battle. Tsunade also assigned the antidote formula she had researched during this period to the medical class and asked them to mass-produce it. At this point in time, medical ninjas are a rare profession. Even in Konoha, which has the most advanced medical technology, there are very few medical ninjas. However, this is a war after all, and Konoha can still squeeze out a few medical ninjas to help make antidotes. In this way, the three ninjas once again started competing in the Kingdom of Rain. Due to their previous experience, the Sand Ninja and Iwa Ninja fought cautiously, for fear of being ambushed. However, this time, they still miscalculated. This is another special ninja tool. In the open space outside the camp, watching Orochimaru once again use the space scroll to channel 7 or 8 boxes, the people of Konoha were surprised again. Even Uchiha Fugaku's pupils shrank involuntarily. This time, what is it again? Uchiha Fugaku has a deep memory of sniper rifles. When it's not raining, taking the enemy's head from 1,000 meters away is really like searching for something. Even if it's raining, as long as the rain is not heavy, in Sharingan with the help of eyes, it can also reach an accuracy of 800 meters. Now, the enemy has changed its attack route and tactics, and the sniper rifle no longer works. This guy, however, took out several other boxes of equipment. Hearing everyone's questions, Orochimaru explained, "This time it's nothing special, it's just an improved detonating talisman." Improved detonator? Yes, this thing is simpler than the previous sniper rifle. Anyone can use it. The method is similar to the detonating talisman, but you don't need to hang it behind the kunao like the detonating talisman to attack the enemy from a long distance. Orochimaru said, once again demonstrating to everyone. Also, although this is a consumable item like the detonating talisman, its power is definitely higher than that of the detonating talisman. If used properly, it can have unexpected effects. After saying that, he threw the thing in his hand out. Boom! An explosion resounded throughout the sky. After the explosion, several Uchiha clan members hurried over to open their Sharingan to check the explosion site. Soon they noticed something abnormal. "This is amazing." When they came back and reported the situation to other families, everyone couldn't help but look at each other. At this time, there was only one thought in their minds. This Orochimaru is so awesome. In Yuyin village, heavy rain washes everyone's face. Thick smoke, kunao, shurikens, detonating charms, and dust plunged this not-so-special country into endless war. Hinata Raiwichi is a teammate of Inuzuka Shuji and Abarame Shingo. This time, they were responsible for tracking down the Suna ninja puppet master. Originally, no one in the entire Konoha was better at tracking enemies than them. But in the land of rain, because of the constant rain, Inuzuka Su's scent tracking cannot work, and Abarame Shingo's insect's ability to move is also greatly hindered. Therefore, the current investigation can only rely on his white eyes. It's just that no one expected that the enemy's reconnaissance capabilities are not weak, and there are many of them. The Suna ninja quickly spotted them. Facing the enemy's encirclement and suppression, they could only choose to fight and retreat in an attempt to break out of the encirclement. Take the move. Go to hell. Whoosh whoosh. On the hills, countless shurikens were thrown towards them from behind. Not good. Abarame Shingo, who was running last, changed his expression and was about to turn around to block. Whoosh! Hinata Raiwichi's figure blocked in front of him. "Leave it to me, Bagwazang, and save the world." Ding ding ding! Countless kunao were blocked by his chakra wall spinning like a top. "Raiwichi! You go first, I'll stop them." "How is this possible? There are so many enemies. If you stay here, they will turn into corpses in minutes. Go quickly. Tell Piyushu the whereabouts of these guys." Bang! Hinata Takashi kicked out and kicked Abarame Shingo back. "Haha, do you want to be a hero? Don't worry, no one can escape." The 5 or 6 Suna ninjas who were chasing at the front kept shouting. Facing the ninjas of Konoha, they finally felt proud. How could they let them go? "Leave 2 people to deal with this kid, the others follow me." The leading sand ninja gave orders decisively. This was a war, not a duel. How could there be so many of them being held back by one person? "Hey!" A black shadow flashed behind the leader at an extremely fast speed. "Those pupils that can penetrate people's hearts are frightening. I'll deal with you first." "What?" The man's expression changed. "This man is so fast." Soft boxing technique, Bagwa 64 palms. Bagwa and 2 palms. Bang bang. 2 seemingly gentle punches hit the man, making 2 strong impact sounds. 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 palms. There were strong impacts one after another, leaving the sand ninja with no time to react. At this moment, he only had one thought in his mind: what a fast punch! Bang! After the last slap, Hinata Raiwichi did not stop, and quickly dodged twice. Avoid subsequent attacks. Ahem, they are indeed the Hyuga clan of Konoha, but, go to hell. Da-da-da-da. A puppet holding a pair of swords suddenly appeared from behind Hinata Raiwichi. What? Hyuga Raiwichi secretly thought it was not good. Byakugan has a 360-degree perspective, but it is not a 360-degree perspective. Just now, he was only paying attention to the few enemies around him and did not even notice that a puppet master had dropped his puppet into the soil. The light of the sword is getting closer and closer, it's too late. Hinata Raiwichi is about to be cut into 3 pieces by the puppet's double sword. Psychic art. Bang! Huge white smoke suddenly appeared in front of Hinata Raiwichi, and then... boom! A giant python with a diameter of 2 meters broke out of the ground and directly swallowed the nearest sand ninja. The sudden attack of the giant python frightened the sand ninjas. They quickly stopped and quickly retreated to keep a safe distance from the enemy. The Sunin were only a few years old during the First World War, and other villages had no information on them. So when they saw the giant python suddenly appearing on the battlefield, they were no less surprised than when they found out Konoha was using a sniper rifle. After the giant python swallowed one person, it quickly returned behind Orochimaru, coiled up in a circle, and waited for the next attack. At this time, the white smoke in the field gradually dissipated. In front of Hinata Raiwichi, he saw a toad that was as tall as a person, grabbing the handle of the puppet's knife with both fists and iron rings. Finally caught up. A voice of relief followed. Hearing this voice, Hinata Raiwichi reacted and quickly flew back in the direction of the voice. Jiraiya-sama, Orochimaru-sama, thank you very much. Hyuga Raiwichi escaped death, and when he saw the 3 people appearing, he felt like he was seeing his biological father. Jiraiya nodded slightly and looked at the sand ninja opposite. Just leave the battlefield here to the 3 of us. You go and meet them. Yes. Hyuga Raiwichi retreated decisively and caught up with his teammates. Fortunately, his 2 teammates didn't go far because they saw Jiraiya and the 3 coming. Seeing Hinata Raiwichi's return, 1 or 2 of them burst into tears. Tears. They didn't want to leave their teammates behind, but for ninjas, sometimes information is indeed more important than life. So in this case, they had to do this. Hinata Raiwichi and the others left Jiraiya, but he ignored it and saw him twisting his neck. Ninja, since you are on the battlefield, you must be aware. Humph, do you think that having a psychic beast can dominate the battlefield? The leading sand ninja sneered. The sand ninja belongs to them, kill them. As he said that, he covered his chest and backed away slowly. He had just been hit by Hyuga Raiwichi's soft fist. The soft fist can seal the enemy's acupoints after hitting it, preventing the enemy from extracting chakra for a long time. A ninja who cannot use chakra is basically a waste. Therefore, he can no longer participate in such a battle, and can only let his subordinates do it. In his mind, there are more than a dozen people on his side, there are only 3 people on the opposite side? Even if there are 2 more psychic beasts, what is the use? It is indeed the case. But the result is completely opposite to what he imagined. Because they are facing the future Sunin. The 3 of them themselves with the strength and psychic beast, the lethality on the battlefield is definitely stronger than their ordinary puppets. Feeling the slimy mollusk on his shoulder, Orochimaru, who was about to prepare to fight the enemy, glanced at Tsunade. I don't have to this thing. Why not? What if you get injured? Will not. That's not okay. Damn it, can you 2 stop showing off your affection at this time? Hearing the conversation between the 2, Jiraiya went crazy. Can't we deal with the enemy first? It was enough for him to be hurt when the 2 of them were together, but they showed off their affection? Forget it, they showed off their affection, but they did it in front of so many enemies? Didn't you consider the feelings of a single guy like him? Seeing this at this scene, the sand ninjas became even more angry. On the battlefield, just chatting with yourself? Does this mean you don't take them seriously? Go to hell. Take the move. Wind release. Wind force wave. Wind release. Wind cutter. An overwhelming amount of shurikens, kunao, detonating talismans, and ninjutsu were thrown at Orochimaru and the others. Jiraiya reacted quickly and quickly formed seals with both hands. On the ground. Earth escape. Earth flow wall. Ding, ding, ding. Boom, boom, boom. Numerous flying props hit the thick earth wall, making various sounds. For a time, fire splashed everywhere, and rubble filled the sky. Da-ta-ta-ta. A puppet holds two swords and flies over the wall from the flank, preparing to sneak attack the enemy Orochimaru. Look at the punch. Bang. Click. Tsunade arrived in time and punched the puppet from the side with a heavy punch. Almost at the same time, Orochimaru threw a few stones outside the earth wall. Stone. The sand ninjas, who were tense in the face of a strong enemy, couldn't help but froze when they saw the stones. This stunned them, which caused them to fail to shoot down the things thrown behind them at the first time. These were several black iron lumps. However, this thing flies slowly, and the sand ninjas have enough reaction time. Whoosh! Several shurikens came out of their hands, and they hit them accurately when they were about to reach them. Boom boom boom! The iron that was hit, all the pimples exploded, and countless shrapnel scattered in all directions. Ah! Snort! Hateful! The sand ninjas screamed, groaned, and cursed at the same time. Because they were unprepared, they were unable to evade and many people were attacked. Hateful, what's this? Yan, Wu, cheer up! What's going on? Boom, boom, boom! While thinking, several more explosions rang out, and several sand ninjas who did not escape in time were hit by shrapnel again. Big brother! A hysterical roar covered up the sound of rain. Withdraw! Retreat! The sand ninja who was called Big Brother, after saying this, he tilted his head and became silent. Bastards, ninjas of Konoha, I'm going to fight you! The sand ninja roared angrily. Not only did he have no intention of retreating, he also wanted to fight to the death with Orochimaru and the others. But just as he bypassed the dilapidated earth wall and approached the three of them, poof! A burst of extremely corrosive acid, sprayed towards him with extremely corrosive acid, it hit his face without any bias. They. Suna ninja, blinded by hatred, had no time to dodge. Bah! He couldn't even scream. When he came out, he was corroded by the rumbling acid. And the slug, as the culprit, actually said, "Sorry? Well, the cute slug is a peace-loving psychic beast. Killing people? It's just a last resort." But Orochimaru's snake was not so easy to talk to. He raised his head and suddenly hit the ground. Boom! The screams of the sand ninja rang out in the rain. A dozen sand ninjas were almost killed or injured before they attacked the three bodies. All gone. With their subordinates suffering serious casualties, no one among them could stop this giant python. The sand ninja captain who hid behind looked at the one-sided situation in front of him and couldn't believe his eyes. These three men, who are they? Not only do they use weird ninja tools, but the psychic beasts are so awesome? Retreat! He couldn't help but let out a roar. There is no way to fight in such a battle. He must bring back the intelligence information of these three people. The few remaining sand ninjas who were still alive received the order and quickly threw away. A large number of smoke bombs were released. They did not even have time to take away the bodies of their companions, and they had already withdrawn from the scene of the battle. Looking at the escaping Suna ninja, Orochimaru and the others did not pursue them. Anyway, their goal had been achieved. And the sand ninja captain originally thought that only his team suffered the defeat, and he was ready to be punished by the village. But when he returned to the base, he discovered that other teams also. What is this? What's up? Ninjas, because they have chakra, are many times stronger than ordinary people. The body's ability to resist blows is naturally many times stronger than that of ordinary people. But now, in the large tent of the temporary military base established by Suna ninja. The wounded Suna ninja were once again spread out on the ground. Looking around, it is densely packed. They were injured in different parts, and they were all wrapped in bandages. There were blood stains on the bandages, and they were wailing one after another. What is it this time? The third Kazekage is going crazy. When did Konoha become so awesome? Are they adding so many wounded at every turn? It seems that the detonating talisman has just been improved. Can something like a detonating talisman hurt so many people? Caused by lack of preparedness. Cho used a scalpel to clip out a piece of shrapnel and said calmly, the people of Konoha are very cunning. They didn't use it in previous small-scale battles. When we launched a large-scale attack, they used their trump card. Our people, there is no defense, that's why. After hearing this, the third Kazekage quickly called several other Jounin captains over to inquire about the situation. We have so many casualties, what about the casualties in Konoha? Them, very few casualties. A Jounin captain said in panic. After saying that, several other Jounin also lowered their heads. It was obvious that they were in the same situation. Seeing the expressions of several people, the third Kazekage was furious. How much exactly? It should be less than 1/10 of ours. What? Less than 1/10? The enemy has special weapons, and we also have puppet masters. How come the casualty gap is so big? People in Konoha have recovery potions. The Jounin said aggrievedly, if you don't give a fatal blow at once, you won't be killed at all. Poison? Can't the puppet master use poison? Could it be that their trauma medicine also has detoxification function? Although the third Kazekage does not know medical ninjutsu, he still has common sense. Although trauma medicine and antidote are both medicines, they are fundamentally two different fields in medicine. He does not believe that Konoha's recovery medicine can detoxify. Hearing the words of the third Kazekage, the Jounin was even more embarrassed. Originally, because of the existence of the puppet master, we were able to win many battles, but the enemy seems to have antidote potions, and the poison of our puppet master did not have an effect. What? Antidote? The third Kazekage is really going to collapse this time. You know, war is all about the military strength of each ninja village. It is usually a showdown between subordinates. The top experts in the village will not be dispatched easily. Because the top powerhouse is the village's trump card, once dispatched it will definitely be a very important mission, or it will encounter an irreversible situation. But now, Konoha's long-distance battles made him suffer a small loss before, and now the close-range battles caused him to suffer a big loss. Even the puppet master that their sand ninja were most proud of was now useless. In other words, his subordinates were perfectly restrained by Konoha. Damn it, how should we fight this war? The third Kazekage clenched his fists. Does it mean that he, the Kazekage, must personally go out to win one or two small-scale battles? It seems that Konoha is really full of talents. Cho heard the reports of several Jounin, and couldn't help but walk out of the medical tent, first a special ninja tool, and then a recovery potion and an antidote. It's really amazing. So what do we do? Are you just going to retreat like this? No, we absolutely cannot retreat like this. Even if I agree, the ninjas in the village who have lost their loved ones will not agree. You're right, but since we can't retreat, we can only think of tactical solutions. Cho pondered for a moment. In terms of ninja tools and recovery potions, it's definitely too late for us to study them now, so we can only think of other ways. Cho said and paused here. Call all the puppet master captains here. The principle of the detonating talisman is to seal the explosive into the talisman paper. After the talisman paper is ignited, the seal is released, and the explosive is ignited the moment it appears, thus causing an explosion. But this one uses metal as a container and stores explosives in the container. In this way, although the number of explosives is reduced and the damage range of the explosives is also reduced, the metal shell container outside will be broken into fragments due to the explosion, causing splash damage from the explosion. This makes the range and lethality of this thing exceed that of the detonating talisman. Use the least explosive resources to make the most powerful ninja tool? This is it's a genius invention. Yes, the most important thing is that you can throw it out directly and save a handful of Konoha resources. In Konoha's coach's tent, everyone in Konoha, who once again defeated Suna Ninja, was discussing the use of the new ninja tool given by Orochimaru this time. Narapusha talked eloquently, and others followed suit. There is no doubt that Orochimaru what they were given was an improved version of the detonator, a grenade. There are generally two types of grenades, delay type and trigger type. The delay type means that after the safety bolt is opened, it will explode within a fixed period of time. The trigger type means that after the safety bolt is opened, it will explode after a collision. The way to explode. What Orochimaru gave is the second one. Detonate by collision. Whether it is thrown in front of the enemy or the enemy hits it with a shuriken, it can explode. However, the grenade can really only be regarded as a detonating charm. An improved version. In fact, it is not very lethal to ninjas. Not only is the distance the same as the detonating talisman, but the speed after throwing it is also surprisingly slow. If the enemy is prepared, he can easily defend or avoid it. So, it will only be effective if it is unexpected for the first time, and the subsequent effects are probably almost the same as the detonating talisman. Of course, Orochimaru doesn't care so much. Anyway, this thing poses no threat to him, and he is not afraid of technical leaks. Not good, not good. A Konoha ninja suddenly rushed into the handsome tent in panic. What's wrong? We met the Suna ninja's puppet master. Puppet master. Everyone was stunned for a moment, then laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, what is there to be afraid of, the puppet master? That is, if it was before, it might still be worth paying attention to, but now with Tsunade-sama's antidote, the puppet master has lost the advantage of using poison, and it is not a concern at all. Tell me, where is the puppet master of the Sand Ninja? You don't need a few adults to take action, I'll deal with them for you. No, we also have Tsunade-sama's antidote, but this time, it doesn't seem to work. How can it be? Are you questioning Tsunade-sama's detoxification methods? Yes, don't talk nonsense. It's true. If you don't believe me, just follow me and have a look. Hearing the Konoha ninja's vow, everyone finally paid attention to this issue. Tsunade sitting next to him immediately stood up. Come on, take me to see it. Seeing Tsunade leaving, Orochimaru, who was a little confused, suddenly recalled something, and the corners of his mouth suddenly raised unconsciously. Is it a duel between Tsunade and Granny Cho? Well, it can't be wrong. During World War II, Tsunade cracked the poison of Granny Cho, which was also a highlight. Originally, after so many years, Orochimaru had long forgotten about this matter. But after he came to this world and discovered that he had a system, he recorded all the things he could remember in the system, coupled with his current powerful spiritual power. Therefore, his memories from long ago have not disappeared. However, even if he had a record of this, he didn't know when Tsunade and Cho started dueling. Not to mention how long the showdown lasted. So Orochimaru, who thought of this matter, was very interested in it. He stood up slowly and walked out of the coach's tent. When he came to the wounded tent, he found that there were about 5 or 6 wounded people on the ground, all of whom had black wounds and were unconscious. Tsunade, on the other hand, was using a silver needle to extract the toxin. Orochimaru inquired about it, and it seemed that more than a dozen people in Konoha had been killed because of this toxin. These people in front of them had desperately fled back to the safe zone and were rescued by Konoha's reinforcements. Look, this is war. You come and go, hurting each other, this is the real battlefield. On the experimental bench. After Tsunade extracted the toxin, she went to the place where the medical class was preparing antidote and got busy. At this time, she was fully focused, completely without her usual impulsiveness and irritability. Just like Jiraiya, he is unrivaled when it comes to seriousness. After about an hour, the preparation of the antidote potion was completed. Seeing the black blood of a dozen people quickly turn red, everyone in Konoha once again had strong admiration for Tsunade. It only took an hour for such a strong toxin to be broken down, which was simply terrifying. Tsunade's name also began to spread throughout the Konoha camp. The antidote is being mass-produced again, and when Konoha's ninja team goes on a mission to deal with the Suna ninja, they all take one or two with them as a precaution. On the other side, the Suna ninja's puppet master poison failed again on the battlefield, which shocked Cho. At the same time, it also confirmed to her that Konoha did indeed have detoxification experts. As an expert in using poison, Cho was naturally dissatisfied. So the two sides began a contest between Orochimaru's memory poisoning and detoxification. Cho is constantly updating the toxins attached to the puppet master, and a new type of poison will appear every few days. The poison she created did kill many people in Konoha. Tsunade, on the other hand, used tricks to control the number of deaths within a certain range every time, and at the same time created antidote potions in time, making the Suna ninja's puppet master useless. It can be said that this is a showdown between medical ninjas. Konoha, the detoxification master, is really amazing. Suna ninja is really a master of poison. Cho and Tsunade were both shocked by each other's methods. One kept causing trouble, and the other kept solving trouble. Although the two had never met, they knew that there was such a master in the other's village. So the two of them did the same thing, which was to ask each other about their origins. Ninjas of Konoha, tell me, who prepared your antidote? Ha ha ha, stop joking, why should I tell you? The Konoha ninjas surrounded by Suna ninja laughed wildly. Do you think I would betray the information about my village for myself? Selling out information will not only cause the village to suffer heavy losses, but also bring shame to your family. For ninjas, this is a shame. Even if it is just a rumor, it is not allowed. Because they cannot see their family and children facing each other. The way he looks when he is disappointed. Therefore, ordinary ninjas will never betray their village's information even if they die. Just tell me your name and age, and I'll let you go. Real? The Konoha ninjas were surrounded and couldn't help but be stunned when they heard this. If it was just the name and age, this wouldn't be considered betraying information. Absolutely true. The other party's solemn guarantee gave Konoha ninjas a glimmer of hope. Although they were ready to die, who would be willing to die if they could live? So in this way, Cho knew that there was a man named Suna in Konoha. A 20-year-old girl holding hands. Konoha also used the same method to learn that Suna ninja had a middle-aged woman named Cho. Of course, they admired, but the war would still continue. After all, war will not be because of admiration for someone. Stopping alone. On the battlefield, the IWA ninja also suffered the same treatment as the Suna ninja as before. This phenomenon made Orochimaru determine two things. One is the impact of the information age on war. The other is the conflict between the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth. Needless to say, the impact of information on war. Computers, mobile phones, etc. are among the most representative products of the information age. With these things, issuing orders and transmitting intelligence will become extremely difficult. Fast. And the conflict between the Kingdom of Wind and the Kingdom of Earth? Well, it seems to be deeper than imagined. Otherwise, if the Kingdom of Wind casually revealed a little information, the Kingdom of Earth would not have suffered such heavy casualties. But thinking about it, Orochimaru also he didn't care about this anymore. Anyway, for him, as long as he could win this battle. Orochimaru didn't bring many grenades this time, and he couldn't even hold one in each hand. Therefore, it was quickly used by Konoha's. The ninjas were all thrown away. Just as Orochimaru guessed, except for the initial surprise, the subsequent effects were only slightly better than the detonating talisman. But it didn't matter, because these weapons had already played a sufficient deterrent effect. Originally, Konoha, which was somewhat disadvantaged, also became an advantage due to Tsunade's detoxification ability and the two arms support provided by Orochimaru. And with the outbreak of the subsequent war, Konoha was 1 against 2, and it soon became a battlefield the leader. Konoha's advantage is getting bigger and bigger, and the casualties of Suna Ninja and Iwa Ninja are becoming more and more heavy. Only this time, no one expected that just when Konoha had the advantage and was about to repel these two ninja villages. Rain, the ninja demigod named Sancho Hanzo from Hidden Village, was angry. He directly led his subordinates from Hidden Rain Village to stand up and declare war on the 3 major countries at the same time. If you fight back, why can't you fight elsewhere? Do you think that I, the demigod, do not exist if I make my territory full of chaos? So with a wave of his hand, Sancho Hanzo became hostile to the 3 major countries. It has to be said that Yuyan Village not only declares hostility to a big country with the power of a small country, but also 1 against 3? Judging from this point alone, Hanzo the Sancho fish of this period really shouldn't be too domineering. As soon as he enters the battlefield, he attacks indiscriminately, regardless of whether you are a Sand Ninja, Iwa Ninja, or Konoha, he just kills you anyway. If you encounter his ninja and don't escape in time, you will have to wait for death. There was nothing I could do about it. When an ordinary person was angry, he would be splashed with blood, let alone a demigod in the ninja world. The ninjas from the 2 villages, Tsunagakuer and Iwagakuer, were okay. They were already losing, so the battle line was not particularly deep, and the chance of encountering the ninjas from Omegakure was not particularly high. But Konoha, which had the upper hand, was in trouble. 2/3 of Konoha's troops are now in the Omegakure village. Faced with Hanzo's indiscriminate attack, he was in a dilemma for a while. Damn it, so terrible. Yes, the power of demigods is indeed well deserved. He is worthy of being a demigod in the ninja world, he is really awesome. Now Yuyan Village has also joined the battlefield, how should we fight? The Iwa Ninja and the Sand Ninja are about to, we fought back. No, someone must stop him. However, with Hanzo's strength, who can stop him? Everyone was discussing the issue of Yuyan Village joining the battlefield, and when the strength of Sancho Hanzo was mentioned, everyone fell silent. Because this person has been famous for a long time. You know, a person's name is like a tree's shadow. In the current ninja world, the name Sancho Hanzo alone is enough to make many people feel in awe. Let alone face him. Ninjas with slightly inferior psychological qualities might have to kneel down when they meet. Want to confront him head-on? Perhaps only the shadows from each village have this qualification. But shadow, unless there is a possibility of destroying the village, will not go to war easily. I think we should be able to. Hearing this sound, everyone in the coach tent of Konoha village looked at the source of the sound at the same time. Lord Jiraiya? Seeing that it was Jiraiya who spoke out, Narahekushu, as the commander, was also happy. You know, in Konoha today, except for the Hokage and Danzo, there are only a few people who are truly powerful Orochimaru. The 3 of them, Hatake Sakumo, and then, gone. It's really gone. Uchiha Fugaku? A 16-year-old boy has just reached the level of Jonin. At most, they only have 1 more pair of 3 Megatama Sharingan eyes than an ordinary Jounin, and they only serve food when they go there. As for Hinata Hinashi, he is only 12 years old now, and his level is still only Chunin. He can hardly go to the battlefield, but he still has to face Hanzo the Sanshouiu. Might as well deliver food. Therefore, the Konoha ninja who can resist Sancho Hanzo can only choose among these 4 people. Hatake Sakumo is very strong, but he is alone. It is still dangerous to face Sancho Hanzo alone. Because Sancho Fish Hanzo knows how to use poison, and the poison is very violent. Facing such an enemy, no matter how powerful Hatake Sakumo was, he would not be able to show his strength. The three of Orochimaru are different. Not only are they powerful, but they have also cooperated for many years. Plus Tsunade can detoxify, they can definitely stop Sancho Hanzo. What? 4 people together? This is obviously unrealistic. Because with this kind of thing, the more people, the better. Without running in, the more people there are, the more likely it is to make mistakes. Therefore, among the Konoha ninjas, the only ones who can intercept Sancho Hanzo are Orochimaru and the others. Hey, Orochimaru, what do you think? Seeing everyone staring at the three of them, Jiraiya turned Orochimaru's arm. Although the third generation handed over the battlefield here to the three of them, Orochimaru had always been the captain of the three before. Therefore, faced with this problem, Jiraiya subconsciously asked Orochimaru for his opinion. Of course I have no objection. Orochimaru said casually. For him now, Sancho Hanzo can only see the poison. If Tsunade can help him detoxify, he really doesn't take Sancho Hanzo to heart. It's just that his attention is not on this matter. Instead, he wonders in his heart, Sunan? Did he get involved with Sancho Hanzo because of this situation? Didn't he meet by chance? Then, I'll leave it to the three adults. Narapusha bowed to Orochimaru and the others on behalf of everyone in Konoha. Orochimaru came back to his senses and waved his hand casually. It's okay, it's a trivial matter. Small, a piece of cake? Everyone in Konoha couldn't help but twitch their lips. I asked you to deal with it, but Hanzo the Sancho fish, you actually said it was a trivial matter? Can you stop showing off? But they would definitely not dare to say such offending words. After receiving Orochimaru's affirmative reply, Narahekusha placed the map of the Land of Rain at the front of the coach's tent where everyone could see it, and then took out a baton and began strategic deployment. I have asked Hokage-sama for reinforcements, and they are expected to arrive tonight. So, since the three adults are willing to go, let me first talk about this battle plan. Since this is a three-party melee, the Rain Hidden Village has also joined in, so if we want to win, we must take the Rain Hidden Village into consideration. For this reason, it is completely necessary to divide the troops into 3 groups. Narapusha continued. My suggestion is that, while being careful about the ninjas of Omegakure village, Uchiha, Hinata, Inuzuka, Aberame and Sakumo-sama's team go to the northeast for the firefight between Konoha and IWA ninja troops. Click, focus your firepower to repel the IWA ninja first. On the Sand Ninja side, we, the Inaludi tribesmen, will lead other teams to intercept. When the enemy's puppet master's poison fails, our abilities can be brought into full play, so, there should be no problem in procrastinating. As for your side, due to the concentrated firepower, if nothing unexpected happens, it should only take half a day to win the war. After defeating the IWA ninja and winning the battle, you immediately rush to the Suna ninja to reinforce us, so that this war can be guaranteed to be flawless. Very reasonable. After hearing this arrangement, everyone nodded secretly. There is nothing wrong with focusing on the IWA ninja who is not good at using poison and has little morale first. Even Orochimaru looked at this Nara tree with interest. This Nara, the people in the family seem to be pretty good, don't they? Even if they are just a sidekick, they can still direct the war flawlessly? It's also quite interesting. Of course, the premise of all this is that the 3 adults must hold Sancho Hanzo for at least half a day. Otherwise, if he is allowed to enter the battlefield on either side, the consequences will be unimaginable. Don't worry, we've got it covered. Jiraiya patted his chest and assured. Although he has heard of Hanzo's reputation, challenging a strong person is what a strong person should do. With Jiraiya's character, after knowing the importance of this task, not only will he not be afraid, but he will also feel that this is a very glorious task. Therefore, he is full of fighting spirit now. Narapusha didn't know about this situation. After arranging the offensive route, he began to discuss specific matters. Next is the time to launch the general attack, which is expected to be tomorrow morning. I will find a way to inform everyone of the specific time by then. By the way, one more thing, when you attack, remember to bring the antidote potion made by Tsunade-sama as a precaution. There are several types of antidote, and the quantity is limited. Be sure not to get the wrong one. Well, that's pretty much it. If you have anything to add, you can say it now. I have a question. Inyazuka-su raised his hand to signal. Speaking. Do we also need to bring antidote to deal with the IWA ninja? Inyazuka-su was a little puzzled, because in his memory, IWA ninja was not good at using poison at all. Certainly. Narapusha nodded. According to the intelligence during this period, it is not only the puppet troops of Suna ninja that can use poison, but also the ninjas of Yuyan village. Therefore, for the sake of safety, each multi-person team should be prepared. 1 or 2 is better. I see. The meeting went very slowly. After all, this was a war that decided the outcome. Therefore, nothing can be careless. After the several-hour combat meeting ended, everyone rushed directly to their respective firefighting locations. In fact, this war is mainly a competition between the 3 major powers. Yuyan village joined in just to save its own face. After all, the 3 major powers are fighting on their territory. As the leader of Omegakure village, Sanshou Hanzo, he is also the demigod of the ninja world. If he doesn't say anything, then he won't have to hang out in the ninja world in the future. Ninjas pay great attention to their honor and reputation. Therefore, they came forward under forced circumstances. In other words, the victory or defeat between Yuyan village and the surrounding countries is not important. What is important is the victory or defeat between the 3 major countries. Among the 3 major countries, Konoha, which has the advantage on the battlefield, wants to win. Naturally, it cannot let Sanshou Hanzo join in and cause trouble. Because this guy's strength is really good, and it's a range attack. As soon as he appears, it can easily disrupt Konoha's deployment. When the time comes when the IWA ninja or Sand ninja sees the breakthrough, it will be easy to defeat Konoha with one blow. Therefore, Konoha needs people with equally good strength to hold him back and buy time for Konoha's army. This is why the original Sunin was able to fight Sanshou Hanzo. During this time, when the Hokage is out, the Sunin are the strongest. Only the 3 of them together could stop the ninja demigod. As for Hitaki Sakumo, although the strength is also very good, after all, there is only one person. That night, the Konoha ninjas arrived at the firefight point, and the reinforcements of the 3rd Hokage also arrived at the Konoha base. This time, almost all the ninjas in Konoha, except for the genin, showed up. It seemed that they wanted to win the war in one fell swoop. The next morning, under the command of Nara Hackberry, Konoha's ninja army launched a general attack. Inyazuka, Abarame, Hinata, and Uchiha cooperated with Hitaki Sakumo to attack IWA ninja. Ino, Deer, and Butterfly cooperate to resist the Sand ninja. Facing Konoha's attack, IWA ninja and Sand ninja responded promptly. IWA ninjas, take up the challenge. Come on, let's fight it out. Fire escape. The powerful fireball technique. Water escape. Water chaos. Earth escape. Earth flow wall. Swish, swish, swish. Boom, boom, boom. Shuriken, kunao, detonating charms, ninjutsu, flying all over the sky. The 3 armies meet, the battlefield fell into chaos. Hitaki Sakumo took the lead. A silver-white chakra knife turned into a deadly cold light, easily taking away the life of the IWA ninja. Even if the IWA ninja used ninjutsu to defend, there was no chance. Use. Because his knife is very fast and can easily cut your throat before you release the ninjutsu. At this time, no matter what tactics, what ninja tools, what trajectory, as long as it is not a super long-range guided, harmony, missile, the original, harmony, bullets have no effect. Both sides are fighting for momentum. However, in this war, except for a slight disadvantage at the beginning, Konoha became more and more courageous as the battle continued. Victory after repeated battles. So the morale of Konoha is strong at this time. However, due to repeated defeats, the morale of Suna Ninja and IWA Ninja is now in a low state. Morale is invisible and intangible, but it plays a decisive role in any war. Even if ninjas are no exception. Suna Ninja was forcibly held back by Ino Shikacha, and IWA Ninja was beaten back by Konoha. Whoosh! Shuriken, Shadow Clone Technique. Boo-hoo! In the jungle, a shuriken turned into countless black lights and galloped towards the enemy in front. The number of shurikens was like raindrops, overwhelming. The rain ninja's reaction was of no use, and he was seriously injured. After the flying Orochimaru hit the enemy, he didn't stop at all. He took out a grenade from his ninja bag and threw it over. Boom! The hit rain ninja was instantly injured. No sound. You guys are so merciless, even the people of Yuyan village are not spared. Since you dare to declare war, don't blame others for killing you. Makes sense. Okay, focus, we shouldn't be far away. Swish, swish. 3 figures in black raincoats ran towards the location given in the intelligence. Orochimaru, who was running, glanced at Jiraiya and Tsunade beside him, and immediately compared the two of them in his mind. The data was compared. Tsunade's current situation should only increase the amount of chakra, but Jiraiya? In addition to the amount of chakra, it seems that there is an additional senjutsu. Orochimaru doesn't know the original Sunin vs. Sanshou. When Uo Hanzo was in Uo Hanzo, Jiraiya did not learn senjutsu, but judging from the power of senjutsu, he should not have learned it. Otherwise, after learning senjutsu, how could Jiraiya cooperate with Orochimaru and Tsunade? It's impossible to just tie with Sanshou Hanzo. Thinking of this, Orochimaru nodded slightly. The strength of the two of them has improved, not to mention himself. With such a lineup, can he not defeat Sanshou Hanzo? Sanshou Hanzo, the demigod of the ninja world. After the death of the first Hokage and Uchiha Madara, he was the man who stood at the top of the ninja world. Orochimaru had judged Hanzo's strength based on his own intelligence. This guy is definitely not an empty name in his memory. And he believed that even Sarutobi Hiruzen might not be his opponent now. How could a person who could be recognized by the 5 major countries and be named a demigod have a strength lower than that of an ordinary shadow level? He should be at his peak now, and he should be at the peak of a film level. His combat prowess is estimated to be similar to that of the 3rd Raikage. Although their fighting methods are different, their lethality is absolutely the same. Facing such an enemy, even Orochimaru was excited. This is his first powerful enemy after coming to this world. Regarding this war, Orochimaru is actually very relaxed. Under normal circumstances, he does not need to go to the battlefield in person. Normally, just issue equipment and give instructions. The last battle was just because they received a signal for help from Hyagaraiwichi and others, and the 3 of them happened to be not far away. But this time... Here, antidote, take 1 each of you. This is a temporary antidote based on the toxins extracted from the bodies of people who were injured by Hanzo before. Tsunade, who was running, hooked out 2 portable syringes from her ninja bag and handed them to the 2 of them. The syringes looked like test tubes, and the needles were sealed with transparent caps. They looked like they could be opened at any time. Taking the antidote, Jiraiya smiled. Laughing, awesome, Tsunade, the speed at which you make antidote potions is really amazing. No one in the entire ninja world can match you. Don't praise me either, I'm just doing this to not hold you back," Tsunade said helplessly. Originally, she had always felt that as a descendant of the Senju clan, she had good talents and outstanding strength. And she often looked down on Jiraiya because of this. But after fighting side by side for a period of time, she discovered that Jiraiya was now stronger than her. This gave her an obvious sense of crisis. It didn't matter that she couldn't compare to Orochimaru. After all, Orochimaru was originally gifted, but why was Jiraiya left behind? Therefore, she was not very convinced. Hearing Tsunade's words, Jiraiya was stunned, but before he could say anything, Orochimaru suddenly said, "There is extra for this potion. Have. Give me another one." The sky is still drizzling. In a hilly area, a man wearing a helmet, a gas mask, a raincoat and a Yuyan village vest stood here like a god of war. Opposite him were 5 ninjas wearing Konoha forehead protectors. There were only 5 ninjas from Konoha, but no one dared to step forward. In the outer circle of the battle, there were 7 or 8 other ninjas from Yuyan village. They were like watching a play, watching their leader slaughter these Rain Kingdom destroyers. Yes, to the people of Yuyan village, the ninjas of the 3 major countries are destroyers. They have no mercy for such vandals. Come on, show your true strength. How can you defeat me with this strength alone? Sancho Hanzo held the chain in his hand and looked at these Konoha ninjas proudly. In his eyes, these Konoha ninjas are no different from ants. Just like Uchiha Madara back then, except for Senju Hashirama, the others all rubbish. Hateful, is there nothing you can do? This, but a demigod. We have no chance. Facing the demigods of the ninja world, Konoha's ninjas have lost their fighting spirit. Seeing this scene, Sanshou Hanzo's eyes trembled slightly. Does this mean you have given up? Hey, what a waste! As he said that, he turned around and ignored several people. He, Sanshou Hanzo, had no interest in the ninjas who had lost their fighting spirit. However, do you think he would just let them go? Of course it's impossible. He has no interest in these people. But it does not mean that others will not take action. The moment Hanzo turned around, the other Rain ninjas rushed towards several Konoha ninjas without thinking. After a relaxing fight, all the Konoha ninjas were knocked down on the ground. They obviously lost their combat effectiveness. Seeing that these Konoha ninjas were about to be strangled. Boom! A loud noise attracted everyone's attention. Everyone looked back after hearing the sound, and saw 3 men in robes standing opposite Sanshou Hanzo. Konoha ninjas in raincoats. 2 men and 1 woman. Seeing these 3 people appearing, even Sanshou Hanzo squinted his eyes. Look at the direction you are coming from, it seems very special to be here. You, is it the Sanshou Hanzo who has the title of Ninja Demigod? Jiraiya, standing among the 3, answered the question. Among the 3, although Orochimaru is the strongest, when performing tasks, Jiraiya is the main attacker. Orochimaru is the control, and Tsunade its medical treatment and support. Plus Jiraiya's character. So every time the 3 of them are close to the mission goal, Jiraiya always walks in the middle and rushes to the front. Damn it, who is this kid? How dare you call Lord Hanzo by his first name? Simply unforgivable. Hey, kid, how can you call Master Hanzo by his name? Hearing the gossip of several Rain ninjas behind him, Jiraiya curled up his lips. It seems that the target person is right. Hearing this, Sanshou Hanzo was a little surprised. Do you think you've made a special trip to see me? Good. Our mission is to defeat you. Jiraiya shouted confidently. After learning Senjutsu, this guy was a little swollen, and he was still young, so his personality had not completely changed. So he still looked a little reckless. But after hearing this, Sanshou Hanzo hadn't spoken yet, but the other Rain ninjas seemed to have heard something funny, 1 or 2 laughing wildly. Ha ha ha, that's so funny. What's going on with this kid? Are you stupid? They said they wanted to defeat Lord Hanzo? Did I hear it right? Ha ha ha, it's another few brats who don't know the heights of the world. Whoosh! A black shadow flashed past. Jiraiya stopped Hanzo. I'll get rid of these flies first. The villain dies because he talks too much. On the battlefield, Orochimaru was not in the habit of blindly comparing himself to others. Since we are sure that we are the enemy, we can proceed directly without any explanation. In Orochimaru's eyes, Sancho Hanzo is the boss, and the others are mobs. If you want to solve the boss, you must first clear out the mobs. So, he took action. What a speed! Seeing this scene, Sancho Hanzo was obviously a little surprised, but he didn't move. Because in his eyes, Orochimaru and the other three were just a few young boys. And he? But he has 8 subordinates. Can he be Hanzo? Could his subordinates be vegetarians? Obviously not. But this time, he still miscalculated. Orochimaru's current speed, coupled with the increase in wind attribute chakra, is already equivalent to opening 2 of the 8 gates of armor. Plus the immortals, the increase in strength brought by the body. In terms of taijutsu, he is definitely at the pinnacle. Although it is not comparable to the ninjutsu of Yun Ninja Village and the real 8-gate Dunjia, it is definitely not something that ordinary ninjas can compare to. Bang! Bang! As soon as they entered the crowd, 2 rain ninjas fell to the ground, and the others reacted and quickly flew away. Seeing Orochimaru knocking them down with 2 punches, Sancho Hanzo couldn't stand any more. Boy, you have a chance. Whoa! As soon as he finished speaking, the chain came out of his hand, and the end of the chain went straight to Orochimaru's back. His weapon was a rather special chain, with a lock on one side and a sickle on the other. Orochimaru noticed the attack from behind and saw without even looking, he stretched his hand to the side and grabbed it. Latent Shadow Snake Hand. A rain ninja couldn't react and was pulled directly in front of Orochimaru. Originally, Orochimaru wanted to pull this rain ninja to block him, but he couldn't. Don't underestimate people. Dang! Jiraiya arrived in time and kicked the lock away. At the same time, he formed seals with his hands and took a deep breath. Fire escape, fire bullet. Psychic art. The 3 of them have been cooperating for a long time, so they naturally know what to do at this time. The huge flames swept towards Sancho Hanzo with scorching power, while Tsunade found a safe place to channel the slug to the Konoha ninja among the crowd. After the slug appeared, it quickly split into 5 and attached itself to the 5 Konoha ninjas. Sancho Hanzo, who was avoiding the fireball, saw this scene and couldn't help but frowned. Good cooperation, it seems you are qualified. Be my opponent. Hey, as long as we are here, we will never let you leave this place. Jiraiya is still full of fighting spirit. I see. Is it for victory in the war? Whatever. After Sancho Hanzo finished speaking, he looked at Orochimaru. That boy over there, let go of my subordinates, their lives are of no use to you. Orochimaru pinched the white fingers of the rain ninja's neck and was about to exert force. After hearing this, he couldn't help but say, "Yeah? But I don't like to be disturbed by stray fish when I'm fighting. Don't worry, no one dares to disturb me when I'm fighting." It seems right. Orochimaru curled up his lips. After saying that, he kicked out the rain ninja in front of him and ignored him again. Sancho Hanzo is a man whose breath is poisonous. Coupled with the toxins of Sancho, when fighting, he is very poisonous and does not distinguish between friend and foe. Therefore, if this guy is serious, no one will dare to approach him. Earth Country, IWA Ninja Village Military Base. Onoki sat in the front seat, looking at war information one after another, and he sighed helplessly. They were repeatedly defeated by Konoha and suffered numerous casualties. The large number of casualties made their ninja morale low. Now in terms of the village's cutting-edge combat power, it is even worse than Konoha. It seems that we have lost this time. Pass the order, IWA ninjas, start retreating. Yes, Lord Tsuchikage. IWA ninja took the order and went out to give the order. There is no way to lose this battle. Because they couldn't defeat Konoha in the first place, and now that the Rain Hidden Village has joined, it will make it even more difficult for them. So, even if they have another chance, Jean's Hickson must first withdraw from the Kingdom of Rain. As for the subsequent offensive route, we need to consider it in the long term. As for why Onoki does not participate in the battle, that is because the shadow may be able to change the outcome of a battle, but it absolutely cannot change the outcome of a war. Their power is not enough. On the other side, seeing the retreat of the IWA ninja village, Konoha breathed a sigh of relief. After leaving part of the alert, they quickly divided their forces and rushed to the northwest Suna ninja battlefield. Just like Nara's Hackberry had planned, the war turned out to be one-sided. In the afternoon, when members of several major families in Hitaki Sakumo appeared on the Suna ninja battlefield, the war was no longer in suspense. Seeing that the situation was not good, the Suna ninja chose to follow IWA the same strategy as Shinobu. The entire army withdrew from the battlefield of the Land of Rain, and the Suna ninja base retreated 30 miles. Konoha family could carry the Rain Ninja village to fight them, but they did not dare to carry the Rain Ninja village to fight Konoha. So, the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain was declared over. This time the Sand Ninja and the Rock Ninja suffered a lot, but the Konoha ninjas won the war at a very small cost. The whole audience cheered for a while and their morale was high. Only a few people headed by Nara Hackberry, a commander, is worried about the situation of Orochimaru and the others. Keep your feet up, drink. Boom. Tsunade jumped into the air and stepped on a big pit. Hanzo easily dodged it, jumped back on top of his Sancho fish, and flicked it with his backhand. Whoosh whoosh. Da-da-da. Sancho Hanzo stood on his psychic beast Sancho and threw several kunai with detonating talismans from top to bottom. Orochimaru, Tsunade, flash! Jiraiya shouted, and the three of them quickly dodged. Boom, boom, boom. Countless explosions filled the entire battlefield with smoke and dust, and was filled with the smell of gunpowder. Through the smoke and dust, Sancho Hanzo's eyes flashed, and he quickly formed seals with his hands. It's now. Fire release. Detonating talisman flame formation. The ground around Orochimaru, who had just landed, began to sink. The surrounding ground turned into detonating talismans and climbed up to Orochimaru's feet. Orochimaru! Tsunade exclaimed. Ninja Jizo! The white hair arrived in time to wrap around Orochimaru's waist and drag him away from the place. Boom 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 boom. The densely packed detonating talisman exploded instantly, and the explosion was earth-shattering. It even resounded throughout the hills. Sensing that the chakra of the three people in the thick smoke had not disappeared, Sancho Hanzo couldn't help but frowned. Not only were these three people immune to their own poison, but their vitality was so tenacious. Phew! A cold light suddenly emerged from the thick smoke. What? Sancho Hanzo's expression changed, and he quickly raised two fingers in front of him. The art of instantaneous body. Whoosh! Sancho Hanzo disappeared and dodged the attack. The next second, his figure appeared above Sanjiayu's head again. It's amazing, how can you push me to this extent? It's not over yet. In the thick smoke, Orochimaru, who was protected by Jiraiya's white hair, curled up the corners of his mouth, and at the same time he turned his sword with his hand. Sancho Hanzo suddenly became alert and quickly turned around to block. Clang! The sound of metal collision sounded. Sancho Hanzo's pupil shrank. This is, sword. Kusanagi sword. Sora no Tachi. Not bad ability, but only to this extent, Nani. Hiss. And snakes? How can it be? Looking at the black snake biting his thigh, Sancho Hanzo couldn't believe his eyes. He was actually attacked by a snake? Are you kidding? But he didn't have time to think too much. Using the end of his weapon chain holding Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword, he picked up the end of the sickle with his other hand and quickly slashed at the black snake biting his trouser leg. Clang! The sound of a hard object hitting him sounded, and Xiao He was chopped away with one sword. It was just that, the sound of a hard object hitting? What is this? What happened? Sancho Hanzo couldn't believe his ears at this time. He chopped the snake with a sickle, but there was a sound of a hard object colliding. What's the trick? He quickly deflected Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword and jumped out of his Sancho, trying to distance themselves from the three of them. On the other side, although Xiao He was slashed away, he was not cut into two pieces. After landing, he quickly climbed back to Orochimaru's shoulder. Master, success! Thanks for your hard work. Orochimaru smiled faintly and glanced at the place where the black snake was struck. Haha, luckily Master Hanzo was merciful, otherwise you wouldn't just have broken some skin. Yes. Be merciful, Hanzo didn't think there was something wrong with this snake, okay. As one person and one snake talked, the smoke caused by the detonating talisman gradually dissipated. Boom! Sancho Hanzo's psychic beast also turned into white smoke and disappeared because its owner was bitten by Xiao He. Orochimaru, are you okay? Seeing the smoke dissipate, Tsunade ran over with a concerned look on her face. Orochimaru waved his hand casually. I'm fine. You can heal Jiraiya first. Since, Jiraiya, injured. Tsunade was stunned for a moment, and then she saw Jiraiya gasping for air. Is this guy really injured? Tsunade didn't have time to think too much, and quickly checked Jiraiya's injuries. But Jiraiya didn't care. At this time, he was looking at Orochimaru in disbelief at his own injuries. Sancho Hanzo's fire release was extremely powerful. Even if he used Jizo himself, he was still injured. But he was pulled back by himself. Orochimaru, logically speaking, is not as protective as his own? Why is it that not only is he not injured, but he can also calmly launch a counterattack? This guy? Not injured? No, impossible. Jiraiya looked carefully and saw that the clothes on Orochimaru's right arm had been blasted with several holes. The holes were large and small. Through the largest hole, he could see the burned skin inside. Automatically repaired. Did he use the recovery potion? Jiraiya was stunned. That was impossible. How could Orochimaru have the time just now? Orochimaru ignored what Jiraiya was thinking and stretched out his hand. The Kusanagi sword that Uo Hanzo blocked came back. Can the Kusanagi sword fly? Can it retrieve objects from across the air? Yes. The full name of this move is called Kusanagi sword, Sora no Tachi. After injecting chakra, you can achieve long-distance control. It's like the sword control technique in the Xiangxia TV series. Orochimaru used this technique to kill Sarutobi in the original novel. As for the power of the sword? Even the monkey demon with the indestructible body of King Kong will cry out in pain when caught. The power can be imagined. But Sancho Hanzo is really good. He was able to block this sword without knowing it. He is indeed an awesome character. Judging from the time we delayed, Konoha should be victorious. So, Master Hanzo, do you think I should kill you or not? Orochimaru had a playful smile on his face, holding the Sachi sword in his hand, and walked towards Sancho Hanzo step by step. Body holding technique? Boy, it seems that I guessed right. Among the three of us, you are the strongest. Sancho Hanzo remained motionless, looked at Orochimaru, and said in a low voice. Originally, when fighting against many, the weakest one would be killed first. He did the same thing. And he also quickly discovered Tsunade. He was the weakest among the three. But every time he noticed Tsunade's flaw and launched an attack on Tsunade, Orochimaru's attack would come as promised. This forced him to point the finger at Orochimaru first. So, there was the scene just now. He launched fire escape against Orochimaru, Jiraiya shot Jizo to save people, Orochimaru fought back with Kusanagi sword. Orochimaru curled his lips. I don't dare to be the strongest, but the three of them came together and defeated you should be enough. After saying this, Orochimaru placed the shimmering silver Kusanagi sword on Sancho Hanzo's neck. Sancho Hanzo, who was hit by the immobilization technique, could only watch helplessly. He was very powerful and a demigod level, but it still takes some time to unlock this kind of immobilization technique that is forced on oneself. I didn't expect that Hanzo, the Sancho fish, would be defeated by 3 juniors, hehe, that being the case, come on then. Sancho Hanzo laughed at himself, and he didn't seem to have any intention of delaying the time to resolve the holding technique. After saying that, he closed his eyes directly. Looking at this scene, Orochimaru was a little surprised. Remember, this guy is not afraid of death, right? How could there be such a heroic spirit to die generously? But Orochimaru wouldn't care so much. He directly raised the sword in his hand. So, by now, Lord Hanzo, don't hurt my family. Swish, swish. Countless shurikens shot towards Orochimaru, along with a purple smoke bomb. Orochimaru didn't have time to kill anyone, so he quickly dodged behind him. Bang! The smoke bomb exploded, the purple smoke instantly blocked the sight of Orochimaru and the others. Be careful, this smoke is poisonous. Tsunade shouted, covering her mouth and nose at the same time, and grabbed Jiraiya away from the place. Orochimaru also flew out of the smoke instantly after Tsunade reminded him. The antidote given by Tsunade was based on the body of the Sancho fish Hanzo. It is formulated with poison and cannot cure the poisonous smoke. Once inhaled, it will be very troublesome. But fortunately, Orochimaru reacted quickly, and the range of the poisonous smoke was not wide. Orochimaru did not inhale the poisonous smoke. It's just this Sancho. Hanzo. It seems a bit of a pity. Looking at Sancho Hanzo, who was rescued by the rain ninja wearing a gas mask, holding the Kusanagi sword Orochimaru in his hand, he smiled faintly. Although he said it was a pity, there was no trace of it from his expression. It's a pity. Because he knows that Hanzo alive is indeed more interesting than Hanzo dead. Oh, Orochimaru, your snake is going to faint. Jiraiya's voice of surprise interrupted Orochimaru's contemplation. Orochimaru came back to his senses, and sure enough, Xiaohei who climbed onto his shoulder looked drowsy. Is this poisoning? It should be right. You may have just smoked poisonous cigarettes. Xiaohei, please go back. The poisonous smoke will make you faint for a while at most. Yes, master. Bang. Xiaohei agreed, and then turned into a puff of white smoke and disappeared. Orochimaru can also use poison, so he knows that poisonous smoke usually causes people to coma after inhaling it, and rarely poisonous smoke can be fatal. After all, not everyone is Sancho Hanzo. As for the problem of snake poisoning, it seems that no explanation is needed. Tsunade's antidote is a human dose, and it is only suitable for dealing with Sancho Hanzo, so Xiaohei who uses the antidote, Hanzo, the Sancho fish, was not poisoned, but he was poisoned by inhaling the poisonous smoke. Orochimaru, you snake is so weird. Why is it weird? In all my life, I have never seen a snake that can become invisible. Why didn't the Sunin's fight against Hanzo turn into a battle between psychic beasts? The main reason is that the psychic beast cannot withstand the poison of the Sancho fish. And the amount of Tsunade's antidote potion was not enough to cure the size of the psychic beast. Therefore, only 3 people can go up by themselves. As for Xiaohei, it's one of the few weird flowers. Looking at Orochimaru, Jiraiya looked incredulous at this moment. He seemed to have forgotten his pain and was immersed in memories. He just saw with his own eyes that Orochimaru channeled the snake, gave it Tsunade's antidote, and then threw it out one after another with the Kusanagi sword. After throwing it out, the snake disappeared? Can snakes become invisible? Can you believe it? Tsunade also stared at Orochimaru with a surprised expression. She had seen this black snake before when she went to the Kingdom of Whirlpool. But at that time, there weren't many enemies, so she didn't know what the snake was capable of. The Sanshou fish was half hiding just now, so it was difficult for them to discuss this issue. Now that Sanshou Hanzo has been defeated, she has also shifted her focus to this. Can this black snake not only speak, but also possess the art of immobilization and invisibility? Are you kidding me? After hearing Jiraiya's words, Orochimaru explained casually, this is not invisibility, but color change. Discoloration? Chameleon? Jiraiya reacted quickly and quickly thought of something similar. But, is this possible? Can the ability of a chameleon be transferred to a snake? Cheat, is that a lie? Although she saw it with her own eyes, Tsunade still found it a bit incredible. A snake can actually have the ability of a chameleon? Who can accept this? Why are you lying to me? Orochimaru shrugged. Not only can it change color and freeze, it can also use anesthesia and earth escape. Jiraiya. Tsunade. Orochimaru continued to explain to the two of them very casually, not caring at all that they knew his secret. You know, apart from himself, not even Sarutobi and Danzo know about Xiao Hei's abilities. Of course, all these abilities were added to Xiao Hei by Orochimaru over the years. The previous sneak attack on Abarame Ryoma and the sneak attack on Sanshou Hanzo just now used Xiao Hei's color-changing ability. Changing color was originally a basic ability of a chameleon. But in this world, with the increase of chakra, the chameleon's ability is the same as the invisibility technique, and to some extent, it is even better than the invisibility technique. Just like when Pain used chameleon. Even Jiraiya needs special sensory abilities to detect the existence of a chameleon, and the invisibility effect can be imagined. The only difference is that the chameleon's color change is a passive skill, while the snake's color change is an active skill. Chakra needs to be continuously consumed when releasing. However, since this ability is not commonly used, this does not have much impact. Moreover, this ability is also the evolutionary route that Orochimaru had planned for Xiao Hei from the beginning. As for the benefits of such evolution? No doubt. That is to help Orochimaru capture the enemy alive quietly. Invisibly approach the enemy, use anesthesia and immobilization to capture it, and if one is accidentally discovered, you can also rely on enhanced scales and earth escape to avoid damage. Of course, snakes have no hands and cannot form seals, so Orochimaru gave it earth release that does not require seals. IWA Ninja Village, Earth Release. An improved version of Earth Rock Fist. Moreover, the condensed rock layer is also a high-density rock layer rich in metal minerals, plus reinforced snake scales. This is also the reason why Sanshou Hanzo didn't cut it into two pieces with a casual knife just now. Originally, Sanshou Hanzo's sword was powerful enough to cut through steel, but at that time he thought it was an ordinary snake, so he just struck casually. Otherwise, even if Xiao Hei will not die, he will only have half a life left. An average ninja can sense and be highly alert. Sanshou fish Hanzo is no exception. However, snakes are cold-blooded animals. After entering the invisible state, it is difficult to detect its presence without calming down. Therefore, after Sanshou Hanzo was attacked by three people and at the same time attracted by Orochimaru Kusanagi sword, it was very reasonable for him to be attacked. It's incredible, even Hanzo-sama. Who are these guys? Konoha village, when did such a guy exist? The few rain ninjas who helped Hanzo leave were surprised. Hanzo next to him had dull eyes and was completely confused. Stop it! Hanzo suddenly spoke. Hearing this, several rain ninjas stopped their jumping steps and helped Hanzo to a big tree. Sanshou Hanzo ignored them and sat down under the tree on his own. His decision the body technique has long been solved, but the knot in his heart cannot be solved. At this time, his mind is filled with Orochimaru's invisible black snake. He has been famous for a long time, and the three people's attacks he could see through most of them, but that black snake was so weird. Even with his high level of knowledge, he couldn't tell what kind it was. Can snakes become invisible? He was certain that in this world, there is no way such a creature could exist. It's just that the defeat has already been defeated, so it doesn't seem to make much sense to think about it so much. Call. Thinking of this, he leaned against the tree trunk behind him, letting the rain drip on his face wearing a gas mask, looking like he had unfulfilled ambitions. The Sunin of Konoha? On the other side, Konoha won a great victory, and the Konoha ninjas were relieved and began to clean up the battlefield. The Konoha army begins to retreat. Nara Hackberry also saw Jiraiya's contact frog. But when he saw the content given by the contact frog, he was completely surprised. Hanzo has been defeated, no casualties. In other words, the three adults defeated Sanshou Ayu Hanzo? Real or fake? Good, amazing. It's incredible. He is indeed a disciple of Lord Hokage. Too strong. This news spread like a bombshell among Konoha ninjas. For a time, everyone in Konoha admired them, and the three of them became the idols of Konoha ninjas. The current clan leader of Uchiha is named Uchiha Sozan. When after hearing the news, I was even more surprised. You know, who is Sancho Hanzo? That is the demigod of the ninja world, but now. During the retreat of the Uchiha clan, he quickly summoned those important Uchiha clan members together. The strength of Orochimaru and Jiraiya cannot be underestimated. Go back and investigate them. Yes, Patriarch. Especially this Orochimaru. Uchiha Zongshan recalled everything about this battlefield in his mind, and continued, if there is a chance, it is best to get close to him. But this person seems to be very alert. Everyone has flaws. If you observe carefully, you can always find his weaknesses. Got it, Patriarch. Let's go, no matter what, we Uchiha can't be led by the nose, we must make plans in advance. Yes. The battle report of Konoha's victory was sent back to Konoha village through the Ninja Hawk. We arrived at the Hokage office of Konoha village the next morning. Ha ha ha, Sarutobi, it seems your disciple is growing very fast. Yes, you can actually defeat Sanshou Ayu Hanzo? Haha, he is already a big shot who can stand alone. Ha ha ha, this is also their own ambition, I am just playing a guiding role. Hearing the praises of Koharu and Mito Kaden who were sleeping, Hiruzen Sarutobi smiled modestly. He was also very happy at this time. After all, his disciples are so awesome, and his teacher also grew up with him. The three of them defeated the news of Sanshou Hanzo, which was deliberately done by Sarutobi Hiruzen, quickly spread throughout the entire Konoha village. For a time, most of the people in Konoha regarded the three of them as idols. Sure enough, the village won. On the other side, under a natural barrier formed by a huge boulder, Jiraiya ate the compressed biscuits in his hand and said lightly. In front of him, there was a bonfire. Three people were sitting around the bonfire, roasting themselves and getting soaked by the rain. Konoha uniform. Since the war has been won, the three of them are naturally not in a hurry to go back, so they simply rest here for 2 more days. After hearing Jiraiya's words, Tsuna, who was lying on Orochimaru's lap next to him, couldn't help but reply, isn't it natural for the village to win? What surprises me most now is, we actually defeated Hanzo from Hidden Rain Village. Unbelievable. Tsunade's tone seemed like she still hadn't come to her senses yet. That's Hanzo. Such an awesome character. They actually won? You know, Jiraiya's senjutsu hasn't been activated yet. This is an extremely unreal feeling. I'm a little surprised too. Jiraiya looked at the fire and murmured, well, it's hard to imagine. He was also a little confused in the previous duel. But the result was indeed a win. This is a fact. As for how to win? He is confused now too. It's just Hanzo. Is there such a fuss? Orochimaru said lightly. In Orochimaru's heart, although Hanzo's strength is good, he is only at the peak of the shadow level. In the later stage, the super shadow level, the 6th level, an Otsutsuki came out. A peak shadow? It's just a piece of wool. Just listen. When Orochimaru said this, Jiraiya immediately refused to accept it. Damn it, do you know who Hanzo is? Just a Hanzo, that's all. Hanzo-sama is the idol of most ninjas in the ninja world. Let alone defeating him, even being able to fight with him is regarded as an honor by the ninjas. But you won. Orochimaru dismissed Jiraiya's next words in an understatement. No matter how awesome Hanzo is, he is still defeated by his subordinates. Although it is a bit weak to win 3 against 1, they did not use their full strength, right? Jiraiya-sen. The technique hasn't been used yet? Orochimaru's own wood release and Sharingan haven't been used yet? Jiraiya paused. Yes, we won. But how did we win? Jiraiya looked at Orochimaru. It seems that most of the reasons why we can win are because of you, right? Orochimaru. They were able to fight Sancho Hanzo only because of the antidote potion made by Tsunade. Since this potion is a targeted detoxification, after use, it will allow them to develop antibodies to the poison of Sancho Hanzo for a long time. However, Tsunade's antidote potion only made them qualified to fight Sancho Hanzo. In the end, they were able to defeat the opponent. Didn't they rely on Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword and the Black Snake? These two things, he had never defeated before. Jiraiya never seen it. Not to mention him, even Tsunade has never seen Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword. During the battle just now, the two of them didn't even notice where Orochimaru took out the sword. Don't a Euro trademark T pass the credit on to me, this is the result of the cooperation between the three of us. Orochimaru is right. Tsunade lying on Orochimaru smiled and said, we are one. Hey, you two are a whole, and I am just an outsider. Tsunade and Orochimaru were so intimate, which made Jiraiya extremely depressed. How does it feel to see the woman he once loved most lying in the arms of another man? Perhaps only he, Jiraiya, knows. Haha, Jiraiya, you guy. Tsunade smiled, straightened up and was about to say some words of comfort to Jiraiya, when she suddenly heard something strange in the shadows. Who is there? That, can you give us something to eat? A little boy with orange hair plucked up the courage and walked out. He looked at the cookie in Jiraiya's hand and swallowed. Child? Jiraiya's eyes narrowed slightly. Where are your parents? Be killed by ninja in this war. Seeing the three brats appearing one after another, Orochimaru's golden vertical pupils couldn't help but shrink. Is this really destiny? The three little ghosts are very young, no more than 4 years old at most. All three of them were carrying small backpacks on their backs. Hair color red, yellow, blue. Nagato, Yahiko, Konan? Have they grown this big? And since Nagato has met Yahiko, does it mean that his parents have also been killed by Konoha ninjas? Orphans of war? How pitiful! Muttered Tsunade next to her. After being vigilant, Jiraiya, who saw that they were three brats, also handed his cookies to the three of them, looking at their pitiful looks with sympathy on his face. Only Orochimaru stared at Nagato carefully. His long red hair blocked his eyes, but he could still vaguely see a trace of lavender ripples. Sure enough, the Rinnegan has been transplanted. So, do you want to be eye-catching? Although it is only a matter of time before I get the reincarnation eye, now that I have it ready to study, why not? Thinking of this, Orochimaru pulled out a kunai. Orochimaru, what are you doing? Jiraiya noticed Orochimaru's movements. Kill them. What? Jiraiya's expression changed. Wait. The three little ghosts also looked wary. As the leader of the three little ghosts, Yahiko mustered up the courage to question. Why? Why? We are just children, no threat to you. Yes, Orochimaru. Jiraiya is still puzzled. Even if I don't kill them, they won't survive. Orochimaru found an excuse that was not an excuse. In this chaotic era, a kid like this who is 3 or 4 years old and cannot even take care of himself has no way to survive. Even if he is not killed by a ninja, he will starve to death. Although this was an excuse for him to get the Rinnegan Eye. And although the power of the Rinnegan Eye has not yet been activated, what Orochimaru said is indeed the truth. After hearing Orochimaru's words, Jiraiya immediately stopped Orochimaru. He shouted in front of Maru, Orochimaru, even if this is the case, you can't do this, people can't be so inhumane. Inhumane? Orochimaru was stunned. Yes, if he really did this, he would be really inhumane. Moreover, why would he kill them? He is Orochimaru. Even if he doesn't kill people, can't he still study the Samsara Eye? Orochimaru suddenly felt that he was in over his head. Orochimaru in the original novel had not yet built a village or started doing research when he met 3 children. I don't even know how awesome Nagato's Rinnegan is. He simply wanted to kill them out of pity for them. This is the mercy of the ninja. But I am different. I have been doing research for a long time now, and I have built my own village privately. Hasn't the village already taken in a Chanel? I can take them back to the village and study them slowly, right? This will not only study the Samsara Eye, but also destroy Uchiha Madara's plan. Why kill them? Thinking of this, Orochimaru curled up his lips and said in a slightly hoarse voice, Jiraiya, don't get excited, I'm just joking with them. Open, joke. Jiraiya was stunned. He was a little confused. Orochimaru smiled slightly. Look at that kid with long hair, he is probably from the Uzumaki clan. Since he may be from the Uzumaki clan, how could I do something to him? Hearing this, Jiraiya turned around and looked subconsciously. Sure enough, the kid had red hair, and he hadn't noticed it just now. Could it be that he was really an orphan of the Uzumaki clan? If it was really the Uzumaki clan, then Orochimaru really had no reason to take action because the Uzumaki clan is a distant relative of Tsunade. After Orochimaru and Tsunade get together, can he be regarded as a distant relative of Orochimaru? Tsunade didn't pay attention to this at first, but when she heard Orochimaru's reminder, she saw Nagamen's hair immediately reminded me of the Uzumaki clan. Is he really a child of the Uzumaki clan? Orochimaru didn't care what the two of them thought. He took off a scroll from his waist and channeled a box. Then he took out the stored bread and milk from the box and handed it to the 3 of them. The biscuits don't taste good, come and eat this. The scrolls used to pretend to be food are the daily necessities Orochimaru prepared before going to the battlefield. After all, he is now a ninja with both strength and money. When he has everything, he naturally has to pursue the quality of life. Even if it is to go to the battlefield is no exception. This is, Yahiko still has a psychological shadow on Orochimaru and looks a little scared. But seeing the bread and milk in Orochimaru's hand, he couldn't care so much anymore. Nagato, Konan, come on. The 3 children each shared a piece of bread and a carton of milk and ate it hungrily. They were dirty and looked like little beggars, extremely pitiful. Seeing that they were about to finish eating, Orochimaru began to abduct them. Start saving these orphans. Are your parents dead? After eating Orochimaru's food, Yahiko relaxed some of his vigilance. It's indeed very pitiful. What are your plans for the future? Orochimaru continued to guide. Intend? Yahiko, who had finished eating the bread and milk, was stunned when he heard this. He wiped the corners of his mouth and looked cautious. I just want to live with Nagato and Konan. But the ninja world is in such chaos, how can you survive this? Do you want to follow me? Seeing Yahiko's troubled look, Orochimaru said calmly, if you go to my place, you will be safe. Go to your house? Yahiko raised his head in surprise and looked at Orochimaru's forehead. Yes, is it Konoha? Hey, Orochimaru! Before Orochimaru could answer, Tsunade quickly spoke to remind him. It's okay, Tsunade. Orochimaru raised his hand to interrupt what Tsunade was about to say. Of course he knew what Tsunade was going to say. Konoha is not an orphanage, how could it be possible to allow a few unidentified brats to live in it? Even if it is proven that Nagato is really for the Uzumaki clan, only he can go in by himself. The other two children are absolutely not allowed. You know, they are children from the Hidden Rain village. How can Konoha take care of them? Even Konoha's nanny would not dare to take this kind of mission. What I want to take you to is not Konoha, but another place. Another place? Hearing this, not only Yahiko and the other three were stunned, but Tsunade and Jiraiya were also stunned. Orochimaru, what on earth are you talking about? Yes, Orochimaru, you. Tsunade, Jiraiya. Orochimaru interrupted Tsunade again and said bluntly, I'll tell you the truth. I built a village. What? What did you say? Tsunade and Jiraiya exclaimed at the same time. The eyes of the two of them looking at Orochimaru were full of disbelief. How can it be? This kind of thing? They couldn't believe their ears when they heard Orochimaru's words. Orochimaru said he built a village? Ninja village? Orochimaru continued, the village is very hidden and is specially designed to adopt these war orphans. When did this happen? The two of them are still in disbelief. Now is not the time to talk about this. Orochimaru rejected Jiraiya's question and looked at Yahiko. Is your name Yahiko? How? Do you want to go to my place? In the future, there will be many orphans like you, and no one will be able to bully you there. Same as us, orphan. After hearing Orochimaru's words, Yahiko was obviously moved. Because in these troubled times, it is indeed difficult for ordinary children to survive. If that place is really what Orochimaru said, then after they go there, they will meet many children who have the same problem as them. It is a harbor of the soul. I need to discuss it with them. But it's better to be quick. Yahiko nodded, and quickly pulled Nagato and Konan aside to whisper, stand up. Hey, Orochimaru, did you really build your own village? Watching the three children walking away, Jiraiya still couldn't believe it. Isn't this too sudden? Orochimaru nodded slightly. Is there any problem? Damn it, don't you know this is an act of treason against the village? Jiraiya said, hating the iron. Nowadays, the ninja world is in chaos, and every country is almost antagonistic. Even some small countries that have signed an alliance contract are hostile. There is no hesitation at all. All of them. Ninjas always put the interests of their own villages first. But Orochimaru went to build a village on his own without leaving Konoha? Isn't this an act of rebellion? As for Orochimaru's move, he grew up in Konoha. Jiraiya couldn't accept it. Even the way Tsunade looked at Orochimaru was a little strange. She knew that Orochimaru had a secret, but she never thought that Orochimaru would go to build a village alone. Hearing that Orochimaru didn't take it seriously, an act of rebellion against the village? If you don't say it, wouldn't it be considered a traitor to the village? And, Tsunade, haven't you always asked me if there is a way to end the war? This is my answer to you. After hearing Orochimaru's words, Tsunade was stunned. Before he could react, Orochimaru continued, war will produce hatred. The more hatred, the more wars, it's a vicious cycle. So far this is unavoidable. Therefore, I used my own power to create a pure land for these war orphans. Although this pure land is currently insignificant to the entire ninja world, I believe that one day, it will cover the entire ninja world. Big, Orochimaru. Orochimaru said so righteously that Tsunade was dumbfounded. Jiraiya stood aside, also surprised and speechless. Is this still the Orochimaru they know? Is it the difference between them and Orochimaru? They are still fighting desperately for the interests of their own village, but Orochimaru has already set his sights on the entire ninja world? However, isn't our village also considered a pure land? Jiraiya spent a long time holding back this sentence. Shouldn't we first consider how to protect our village? Yet. Orochimaru smiled faintly. This smile made Jiraiya feel a little unsure. There is nothing wrong with protecting your own village. Orochimaru continued, but this does not conflict with my building a village. Think about it, how many orphans are born every year because of war? Let Konoha stop the war? Konoha simply can't do it, at least not in a short time. Their abilities are limited and they have no energy to save the world. They didn't even dare to take in these orphans because they were afraid that these orphans would be mixed with spies from other villages, but I was different. My village is very hidden and has not attracted the attention of other countries yet, so I am not afraid of spies. Stop it, Orochimaru! Tsunade suddenly said, I support you. Tsunade, Jiraiya looked at Tsunade in surprise. Even you? There is nothing wrong with creating a pure land for these war orphans. Other villages dare not do this. Orochimaru did it. This is what he is capable of. Tsunade put her hand on Orochimaru's shoulder. Anyway, I support him. Jiraiya, if you want to expose Orochimaru in front of the teacher, you can go ahead. What? Who do you think I am, Jiraiya? If Orochimaru does something harmful to nature, I will never spare him, but this kind of thing. That? Excuse me. Yahiko's childish voice interrupted Jiraiya's excited defense. Orochimaru turned his head and looked at Yahiko calmly. How did the discussion go? I want to ask first, how can you prove that what you just said is true? Yahiko is the eldest brother of the three, so he is responsible for the safety of the other two, so he seems to still have some distrust of Orochimaru. Very clever kid. Orochimaru curled his lips, knowing that they were already tempted. But, what do you think is the benefit of me lying to you? And with our power, if we want to do something to you, it shouldn't be so troublesome, right? Hearing this, Yahiko paused and seemed to be thinking. Indeed, Orochimaru is three people, and they are also three people. If Orochimaru and the three want to do something to them, it will not be too easy. Thinking about their current situation in this situation, Yahiko gritted his teeth. Okay, we believe you and are willing to follow you. A wise decision. Let's go then. As he said that, Orochimaru glanced at Konan and Nagato next to him, then turned and left. The three Yahiko looked at each other, then nodded to each other and followed. Hey, Orochimaru, wait! Are you going to take them to your village like this? If not. Your village, how many people? A lot of. Where are the subordinates? Only one. What, one? So how do you protect them? You will know when you go. Orochimaru didn't want to say much. It's too troublesome to explain this kind of thing, so it's better to go and see it in person. So, just like that, Orochimaru took Yahiko and the three of them towards Tianakuni. At this moment, no one was there. Pay attention to the smile on the corner of Orochimaru's mouth. So next, how should you deal with Madara Uchiha hiding in the dark? Something seems to be wrong. Looking at the figures of the three elders and the younger ones fading away, a white head on a big tree snorted and slowly merged into the trunk. 2 days later, in the secret room, the dying old man was lying with his eyes closed, sleeping on a stone bed. A white head emerged from the stone wall next to it. Too bad Madara, Nagato was taken away by the ninjas of Konoha. Madara opened his only remaining red eye. Be specific. The Rinnegan eye belongs to Uchiha Madara and is also an important part of his plan. Therefore, after Uchiha Madara transplanted his Rinnegan eye into Nagato a few years ago, he has been keeping an eye on it. But who didn't expect it? Baiju recounted what he saw. This is what happened. Taken away by the ninjas of Konoha? Could it be that he discovered his reincarnation eye? Uchiha Madara frowned and said no, it's impossible. The Samsara eye is a legend. Even if someone happens to know about it, they are just curious at most and will not do such a thing. Indeed, no one in this world knows the true power of the Samsara eye except you. So what's going on? Uchiha Madara closed his eyes a little tiredly. Forget it, you just follow him first, let me think about the rest first. Yeah, I got it. Ju nodded and slowly sank into the ground. The war between the three major countries was temporarily over, and the borders of each country also enjoyed a brief period of peace. Therefore, under the leadership of Orochimaru and the others, Yahiko and the others will not encounter any danger for the time being. Just when Orochimaru took them to Tien country, the name of the Sunin also resounded throughout the ninja world. I don't know who spread this news, but everyone in the ninja world seems to know it. There are Sunin in Konoha. They defeated Sancho Hanzo, the leader of Omegakure village. Although it was unfair to be 3 against 1, this record was enough for everyone in the ninja world to remember them. You know, that's Sancho Fish Hanzo. A man who stands at the top of the ninja world. For ordinary people, let alone 3, even 30 will fail. So everyone started gossiping about the scene of the 3 people fighting. They were all discussing what they used to defeat them, and whether they should find 2 companions to try. After all, this is a good chance to become famous. But after researching and researching, they couldn't even break the poison of Sancho Hanzo, let alone participate in the battle. Just like that, everyone who was eager to try gave up. At this time, Orochimaru took Yahiko and the others on a long journey over mountains and ridges, and finally arrived at Tien country. Really, why do you have to change clothes when you come here? Jiraiya was complaining a little while walking on the road. After they entered Konoha from the land of rain, they put on dry casual clothes and took off their ninja armors and forehead protectors. Orochimaru and Jiraiya, they were also wearing robes, and Tsunade was wearing her own white top and dark green shorts. The 3 of them looked like 3 very ordinary civilians. The 3 children were also washed clean and put on clean clothes. Commoner. Orochimaru had already thrown his backpack and other things far away. Hearing Jiraiya's complaint, Orochimaru explained casually, of course it is to avoid trouble. I was established here as a free man before. Village, if the daimyo knows that I am a Konoha ninja. I see. Hearing this, the 2 of them remained silent. The group of 6 people walked forward slowly. After entering the territory of Tien country, the journey was smooth. They soon approached Orochimaru's ninja village. Orochimaru's village was still named Sound Ninja Village. It is located in a very remote mountain and old forest. The village is not in the same location as his arsenal and laboratory, and it is more remote with a small entrance. So others who want to find Sound Ninja Village may still have a chance. But it is almost impossible to investigate other Orochimaru strongholds. Well? Lord Orochimaru. Hello, Orochimaru-sama. Hello, sir. Lord Orochimaru, good afternoon. 5 or 6 people from Tien country recognized Orochimaru as they passed by. 1 or 2 of them smiled and greeted Orochimaru. Their attitude was extremely respectful, just like ordinary people treating their daimyo. Orochimaru seemed to be used to it, and nodded to everyone. In the more than 2 years he stayed here, Orochimaru has become a well-known patron saint of Tien country. They don't know how powerful Orochimaru is, nor do they know how powerful Orochimaru is, and they don't know the scope of Orochimaru's usual activities. They only know that as long as Orochimaru is here, no wandering ninja dares to make trouble. With Orochimaru here, everyone in Tien country can live and work in peace and contentment, and the country is peaceful and peaceful. With Orochimaru here, their lives have also become a lot richer. Therefore, Orochimaru accepts the respect of these people with peace of mind. It is just something Orochimaru is accustomed to, but it surprises the other 5 people. especially Tsunade and Jiraiya. In their hearts, Orochimaru has become a savior at this time. Even Jiraiya is doubting whether Toad Sento's prediction will be wrong. Is this guy really the child of the prophecy? Good, amazing. It seems that he didn't lie to us. Haha, Nagato, we really did come right. Yahiko couldn't help but get excited when he saw the villagers greeting Orochimaru in a friendly way. Even the taciturn Nagato smiled when he saw Yahiko and Konan smiling so happily. Originally, for him for example, if the ninjas of Konoha killed his parents, he would never go to Konoha. He believed that Yahiko and Konan would definitely not go to Konoha either. Because their parents were also killed in the ninja war. Yes. They have a special resistance to ordinary ninja villages. They were already prepared to refuse, but they heard that Orochimaru had built a village specifically for orphans. At that moment, they instantly felt that Orochimaru was a good person. So, they came with the idea of giving it a try when they had no other choice. However, although Yahiko and the other three are just little kids, people in the Naruto world are all precocious. This is especially true for those of them whose parents have died so. Before they came here, they were still a little worried that Orochimaru was lying to them. Although they didn't know what they had to lie to, they were still worried. After all, this kind of person puts his life in the hands of others. The feeling was indeed not very good. It was not until later that Orochimaru gave them food and clothes, allowing them to enjoy food and clothing that they had never enjoyed before. They also gradually developed absolute trust in Orochimaru. Looking at it now in front of them, the sun is shining brightly, the birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant. Even the last worries in their hearts have disappeared. Here, it is extremely quiet and there is no war. It seems that there is really no war. It is like a paradise. This country seems to be managed very well by you. Yes, Orochimaru, how did you do it? Very simple. Whoosh. Before Orochimaru finished speaking, 5 or 6 figures wearing masks suddenly appeared. Danger! Jiraiya reacted quickly and blocked the 3 children behind him. And Tsunade also took a step forward, preparing to fight against Orochimaru together. But the next second, they were stunned again. They saw these people surrounding them after catching them. He did not launch an attack, but all knelt down towards Orochimaru. Oh my god, who can tell me what this is going on? Lord Orochimaru! Lord Orochimaru! Everyone said in unison. This scene once again stunned Tsunade and others. Before they could react, Orochimaru had already taken the lead and walked inside, and said to them at the same time. Well, they are my friends. Clear. These 5 or 6 figures automatically made way for Orochimaru. Tsunade and her 3 children followed closely behind Orochimaru, and their eyes involuntarily began to look at the masked clones in front of them. Orochimaru over the past 2 years here, cloning technology has of course made great improvements. Their heights and shapes are no longer exactly the same. They are all tall, short, fat and thin. But their skin color is the same, and so are their clothes and masks. So, seeing this scene, Jiraiya and Tsunade were filled with shock. Didn't this guy say that there was only one person in the village? So what happened to these people? Since you want to protect a place, you naturally need a certain amount of military power. Orochimaru seemed to see the doubts of the 2 people and explained directly, so, these are my subordinates. Since he decided to bring the 3 brats here, Orochimaru has naturally prepared his own words. And he is not afraid that Tsunade and Jiraiya will know about many things here. Because their wish is world peace, and what I want to do now does not go against their wishes. Your subordinates. How did you get so many people to obey your orders in such a short period of time? I'll tell you this later, let's go. Tianziguo, a small neutral country. It was really well managed by Orochimaru. Because of the clone's memory, the system also has many backups. It is enough for you to piece together the memory details you want. It is not only about combat, but also about business, management, medicine, and so on. In short, Orochimaru can create all the talents he can think of by himself. Even if he completely copies himself, that is completely possible. As the forest went deeper and deeper, the people became more and more surprised. It wasn't until they arrived outside Orochimaru's village that they were even more surprised. This is a village that looks about 10 times smaller than Konoha. But at this time, there were already a lot of people living in the village. Although these people were temporarily civilians from the surrounding area, their presence made the village more lively. Every time he saw these civilians, Orochimaru had to admire the original Orochimaru. Because building a ninja village in this era is really not something you just want to build. Not only do you need a team of your own, you also need to make some achievements to attract other ninjas and people to join you. In this way, your village can grow stronger and stronger. Orochimaru is like this now. Although after so many years, many mining jobs have been suspended, and Orochimaru no longer pays them wages. But it's safe here and they can be completely self-sufficient. Moreover, Orochimaru's actions also attracted many people who came to seek refuge from the war. Because here is not only safe, but also has the opportunity to earn money and have enough to eat. As for those who might cause trouble in the village, there is no need for Orochimaru's clones to take action. Just the admiration of Orochimaru can make these people suffer. What? Do you dare to speak ill of Lord Orochimaru? Just start the fight without explanation. What? Do you dare to talk about Lord Orochimaru behind his back? The first or second warning, the third time you get out of the village. Moreover, all the people who were forcibly expelled from the village were regarded by the clones as traitors to the village and were dealt with secretly. In short, Orochimaru is a symbol of authority and sanctity in the village. No one may discuss in private. The law enforcement teams organized by these villagers alone can manage the village in an orderly manner, not to mention the clones with higher authority. Lord Orochimaru, you are finally back. Konoha got the news and stood with 8 clones at the entrance of the village to greet Orochimaru respectfully. Looking at the sudden appearance of the girl with short red hair, Tsunade suddenly felt a sense of crisis in her heart for no reason. Although this girl was not particularly beautiful, but looks to be an adult, and her voice sounds unusually gentle. Coupled with the respect for Orochimaru in her tone, Tsunade has reason to judge that this woman may have an unusual relationship with Orochimaru. This is Tsunade's intuition as a woman. Orochimaru didn't pay attention to what Tsunade was thinking, and nodded slightly to Konoha. Let's go, let's talk after we go in. Yes. Sirs, please come inside. Well? Who are these people that Lord Konoha can greet them personally? I don't know anyone else, I only know Orochimaru-sama. Lord Orochimaru? Which one is it? Idiot, you came later, right? Don't you even know Lord Orochimaru? Ha ha ha, that is, when you come to live in this village, you don't have to know other people, but you can't help but know Orochimaru-sama. Along the way, everyone was whispering and talking about Orochimaru and the others. From these words, it was enough to tell how high Orochimaru's prestige was here. Even Konoha, who was adopted by Orochimaru, became an adult in everyone's eyes. Orochimaru's own status can only be imagined. Orochimaru took Tsunade and Jiraiya to the tallest building in the village and stopped. This is the office building of the Sound Ninja Village, just like the cage building in other villages. See you. Orochimaru stopped, and Konoha and everyone also stopped. Chanel. Orochimaru suddenly spoke. Here, sir. Konoha replied respectfully. Orochimaru nodded slightly. They are the orphans I just adopted. Let's make some arrangements. There are 2 aunts at the east end of the village who can help take care of these orphans. Well, you should take them there first. Yes. Konoha nodded respectfully again, then squatted down and showed a gentle smile to Yahiko and others. Children, would you like to go with your sister? That, Lord Orochimaru, Orochimaru-sama has his own things to be busy with. My sister will take you to visit the place where you will live in the future, okay? That's where Orochimaru-sama specially prepared it for everyone. Just for us. Yahiko and the others were stunned. Even though they were mentally prepared, they couldn't believe this was true. Is this really a paradise for orphans? Certainly. Let's go. Konoha smiled gently. She is an orphan herself and has a special affinity for children. It only took less than 2 minutes to gain the trust of Yahiko and the others. Nagato doesn't like to talk, but his thoughts as a child are actually more complicated than those of others. Yahiko was more careful. So he noticed Konoha's red hair. Although Konoha also noticed Nagato's red hair, Orochimaru's order was more important, so she didn't say much. As for Jiraiya and Tsunade? Orochimaru, are you really? It wasn't until Konoha left with the three of them that they realized what they were saying, and they didn't know what to say for a while. Along the way, Orochimaru gave them too many surprises, so much so that they felt that nothing seemed strange about Orochimaru. Orochimaru didn't say anything, and took the two of them upstairs. After sitting on the office chair in the Sound Ninja Village office, he told them about his situation. As Orochimaru told the story, the two of them became more and more surprised. When they heard that all their subordinates were clones, they who thought they had experienced a big scene were stunned again. Clones? Oh my god! Others are still studying ninjutsu, forbidden arts, and tailed beasts, but you are using technology to clone? This is what happened. If you have anything to say, you can say it now. Orochimaru said calmly. Explain? What more can be said? Jiraiya laughed at himself. You guy, it's really... Before Jiraiya could finish his words, he saw Tsunade fly into Orochimaru's arms as if there was no one around, and at the same time her white arms hugged Orochimaru's neck tightly. Haha, Orochimaru, you are so awesome. Seeing this scene, Jiraiya was stunned for a moment, gave a wry smile, then slowly stood up and walked out of Orochimaru's office, gently closed the door, leaving space for the two of them. Although he was still a little sad in his heart, he doesn't even want to make this light bulb. Jiraiya is not stupid, and Tsunade is not stupid either. Just by listening to it, they knew how terrible this cloning technology was. As long as this development continues, Orochimaru will sooner or later have the power to rule the entire ninja world. Everyone can foresee this. But now, Orochimaru does not use this technology to do other things, but uses it to protect these civilians and orphans. Jiraiya wouldn't say anything to this, and Tsunade wouldn't say anything either. Although it is incredible, it is not unacceptable. As for whether Orochimaru will develop the ambition to rule the ninja world when his army becomes stronger in the future, they can't be sure about this. But they will not stop Orochimaru from what he is doing now just because of this possible future situation. With the compassionate characters of Jiraiya and Tsunade, they couldn't do it. Oto Ninja Village Office. At this time, Tsunade was sitting astride Orochimaru's arms, while her arms were hooked around Orochimaru's neck. Looks extremely happy. At this time, she didn't care at all about the difference between the two people's current postures, ambiguity, harmony. Just be happy with what Orochimaru is capable of and what he has done. Relying on one person's strength to protect a country? Even if it is a small country, it is amazing. In this era, any woman would be proud to have such a boyfriend. Tsunade is no exception. But Orochimaru felt different. He could swear that this was the first time in so many years that he had been so close to Tsunade. The scent, touch, and movements all stimulated Orochimaru's potential. He had not touched a woman for 21 years in his previous life, and he still had not touched a woman for 21 years in this life. At this moment, he felt that he should do something. Tsunade. You are my girlfriend, right? Of course, why did you suddenly say this? There is a room next to the office. The sudden sound made Tsunade, who was intoxicated by Orochimaru's ability, momentarily stunned. Well? Is there a room next to it? Tsunade didn't react for a moment. What do you mean? Orochimaru didn't answer, but with a playful smile at the corner of his mouth, he looked quietly at Tsunade's face that was close at hand. She hasn't developed the yin seal yet, so she doesn't have the diamond-shaped mark on her forehead. But the beautiful one, she has a lot of figure and pretty face. She is definitely a girl that all men yearn for. The office in Oto Ninja Village is similar to the offices in other villages, with a huge floor-to-ceiling glass. Through the floor-to-ceiling glass, you can see from a distance that the two people on the office chair are in close contact. The two of them were completely relaxed at this moment because of the fatigue from the previous war. Orochimaru didn't lie to her. There was really a room next to the office. The room is not big, but has all the necessary facilities. It was originally used to rest after being tired at work, but I didn't expect it to come in handy at this moment. There are no other ninjas in the Sound Ninja Village except clones, so there won't be anything that Orochimaru needs to deal with. Naturally, no one else will disturb you here. Big, Orochimaru, you really decided to be here. She had been prepared before, but she never thought that this day would come so suddenly. Sure enough, everyone would be nervous about this kind of thing. But what's the use of being nervous? Orochimaru has little experience, but as a time traveler, he has extremely rich theoretical knowledge. Therefore, he quickly calmed Tsunade's emotions. Although it's not dark yet, time is no longer important to the two of them. Jiraiya, who exited Orochimaru's office, seemed to have a premonition of something. Feeling extremely depressed. However, his attention was quickly attracted by the atmosphere of the village. There are actually quite a few shops here. Seeing the smiles on the faces of these villagers, he couldn't help but sigh. The atmosphere here seems to be no worse than that of Konoha village, right? Orochimaru, this guy is really amazing. Along the way, the villagers were extremely respectful to Jiraiya. Because he came in with Orochimaru. When they heard that he was a good friend who grew up with Orochimaru, both of them worshipped him. Look at him. He's actually Lord Orochimaru's companion, is this real? Yes, yes. Jiraiya scratched his head in embarrassment. Are these guys too enthusiastic? Amazing. Orochimaru-sama is so powerful, his companions must also be great, right? Of course, you must be an amazing ninja too. I think so. Haha, where is that? Jiraiya was a little embarrassed by the praise. Brother, I want to ask, why do you love Orochimaru so much? Is that guy as good as you say? Jiraiya was a little suspicious of the villagers' attitude, and even wondered whether these villagers were created by Orochimaru himself? Or maybe he was under an illusion. Because in his mind, even the shadow of a great country is nothing more than this. Well? Aren't you Orochimaru-sama's companion? How could you not know? Hearing Jiraiya's question, one of the villagers was a little confused. Yes, so strange. Oh, that's it. I've been traveling around since I became an adult, and I haven't seen him for many years. I see. Jiraiya narrated a fact, which quickly dispelled the doubts of the villagers. The simple villagers did not seem to have too many doubts, and they also told Jiraiya everything they knew about Orochimaru. Listen. After finishing this, Jiraiya instantly understood a general idea. Mining wages? Later, in order to facilitate other things, he accepted the villagers and their families who worked for him into this village. Then he used clones to protect them and let them free from the harassment of wandering ninjas. In other words, the Sound Ninja Village has indeed played a protective role in this country. After hearing all this, Jiraiya also admired him in his heart. Because of this kind of thing, even a strong cage-level person is very worried. Difficult to do. Isn't Orochimaru really the child of prophecy? Jiraiya couldn't help but mutter. According to the prophecy given by Toad Sage, the son of prophecy is the existence that can reform the entire ninja world. And what Orochimaru is doing now has the tendency to reform the entire ninja world. Therefore, Orochimaru is said to be the son of prophecy. Seems to make sense? But the Toad Immortal did say that the son of prophecy will be his disciple, which is correct. But if the child of prophecy is not Orochimaru, then who is it? Really, why do I always feel like I'm right next to you? Thinking of this, Jiraiya, who was walking on the road to the Sound Ninja village, was completely confused. Just as he was deep in thought, a burst of noise suddenly reached his ears. He looked up. Hey? That is. Haha, that's really great. Yahiko stretched and said excitedly. Not only is there no war here, but the villagers are so welcoming. Yes, it is simply unimaginable. Looking at the living environment here, Zionin said happily. They are still children now, so naturally they don't have a big city. Therefore, after accepting Orochimaru's favor and seeing the life here with their own eyes, they will naturally like it here. Which of the people, especially those in small countries, doesn't want to live a stable life without war? Hearing what the two said, Nagato also smiled. He smiled, not because he was so happy, but because Yahiko and Konan were laughing. After his parents died, these two people were everything to him. Hearing the words of the children, Channa also smiled. Then do you like it here? Of course. Hey, Lord Jiraiya. Well, here, how does it feel? Jiraiya said with a smile. Yahiko told Jiraiya impassionedly about everything he had seen before, without paying any attention to Jiraiya's eyes. He was staring at Nagato at this time. Just in time, a breeze blew by, blowing Nagato's long red hair and lavender wavy eyes appeared in Jiraiya's field of vision. Samsara Eye. Seeing these eyes, Jiraiya was shocked. Is that really so? As the inheritor of Miamu Mountain, he has been traveling alone for so many years, so he naturally knows what the Samsara Eye is. That is the legendary immortal with extraordinary abilities. The eyes are the eyes of the legendary Six Paths Sage, the ancestor of the ninja sect. He hadn't noticed it on the way. He just saw it accidentally, but he couldn't believe his eyes. Why did these eyes appear on him? Could it be that this child? Jiraiya was horrified and inexplicable. On the other side, in the room next to the Sound Ninja village office. Peace has already returned here. Orochimaru didn't expect that he would be in the office of the Sound Ninja village with Tsunade. It's incredible to think about it. Hey, Orochimaru, what are you thinking about? Orochimaru came back to his senses. Nothing, I just think it's getting dark outside. Do you want to get up and eat something? Wait, just wait. Why? Because. Tsunade smiled lightly. Because there is no need for Orochimaru to take care of things outside. So. It was an unforgettable night. In the early morning, a ray of sunlight shone into the room through the gap in the window. The two people who felt the sunshine felt particularly comfortable. Feeling Orochimaru's movement next to her, Tsunade, who was holding his arm, slowly opened her eyes. Did you wake up so early? It is late. Do you want something to eat? Give me whatever you want. Then hand me the clothes. Forget it, you'd better chat with me for a while first. All right. After a night of tossing, Orochimaru has already entered the sage mode, so he doesn't have any thoughts about Tsunade now. After chatting with Tsunade on the bed for a while, he ate something casually, and then came to the room to take care of himself. They took a shower in the bathroom. The two of them washed and dressed one after the other. Orochimaru felt refreshed and Tsunade looked radiant. Ugh, why did Orochimaru think of other women before? This question is actually not particularly difficult to understand. Throughout the ages, no capable man can have only one woman. This is true even in monogamous modern societies. Otherwise, why would so many people be unable to find wives? And the principal named Wang can be replaced one after another? Well, the topic is a bit far-fetched, but Orochimaru now thinks this is normal. The capable people have wives and concubines, while the incompetent people remain single for the rest of their lives. This is a law and there is nothing wrong with it. As for some people saying that Orochimaru would create his own human beings, how could he be interested in other women? This one is easier to explain. How can an artificial woman be as attractive as a natural woman? This is pure nonsense. Orochimaru took Tsunade out of the office and found Konoha. Konoha began to report the recent work situation to Orochimaru. Jiraiya was playing with 3 children at this time, but as an excellent ninja, his observation ability was naturally strong. Seeing Tsunade following Orochimaru with a glowing face, her heart suddenly went cold. I could only find an opportunity to hide in the corner of the small building at the east end of the village and cry alone. This is the sadness of a man. Most people don't understand. The next few days will be easy. Orochimaru settled everything in place, and then inspected the operation of each stronghold. Well, basically no big problem. After solving some minor troubles that Konoha couldn't solve, Orochimaru was ready to set off back to Konoha. Jiraiya, on the other hand, found an excuse to stay. Are you really sure you want to stay? Hearing Jiraiya's excuse, Orochimaru said a little surprised. I remember that this guy did stay and teach Nagato and the others ninjutsu for several years. But in his memory, it was in a Megakure village. But now, Nagato the door was brought back by himself. In terms of safety, there was no problem. This guy still wanted to stay? Jiraiya nodded seriously. Well, anyway, the war is not very tense now, so there is no use for me to go back. Instead of going back to watch you show affection, why not stay and make a contribution to your village? Orochimaru glanced at Jiraiya and the 3 brats in the distance, and seemed to have guessed what he was thinking. Well, since you insist on staying, I won't force you, but I still have to remind you of something. What? Don't try to use your intelligence methods to find out the location of my experimental base. If you don't have permission, these clones will attack you, and they will contact each other until they kill you. Jiraiya was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but swallowed. Let go, don't worry, I won't be so imprudent. It's true that you won't when you are serious, but who knows if you will become confused. Orochimaru said without mercy. This is also a friendly reminder to him. Because this is indeed the designation he set for the clones. After so many years of cultivation, the clone army already has 600 to 700 people. Orochimaru's arsenal has not only obtained in Tien country. This is a forbidden area. Not to mention ordinary people, even the daimyo dare not approach easily. And the laboratory is not to mention, no one knows the name of this place, and the main force of the clone army is all there. Anyone who does not have the authority to go there, as long as he is not brought in by Orochimaru on his own initiative, no matter who it is, will be executed once discovered. And the clone army continues to fight, ordinary people I can't resist it at all. Unless a ninja like the third Raikage, who integrates offense and defense and has an extremely large amount of chakra, comes in person, even if Sarutobi Hiruzen comes, he will only end up being consumed to death. You know, that is 600 to 700 Jonin with Sharingan. How can an ordinary Kage level resist? Although Jiraiya is now capable of Senjutsu, the duration of Senjutsu is limited, and his overall strength is obviously not as good as Sarutobi. So, if he really gets too playful and goes to play the infiltration game and is discovered in the end, without him, he may just have to wait for death. Orochimaru is right, Jiraiya, you are indeed prone to fooling around. Remember, this kind of thing is no joke. We don't want to see your body next time we come here. During this period, Tsunade also knew about the situation of some clones, so she couldn't help but give a warning. She and Orochimaru were the 2 people who knew Jiraiya best. Knowing that this guy was not serious, he was just a tease. Even if you become an adult, you still can't change this bad habit. Therefore, you really need to be very careful about this matter. Okay, I get it, I'm not a kid of any age. Jiraiya waved his hand bitterly. To be honest, he had indeed thought about finding an opportunity to explore Orochimaru's experimental base before. After all, anyone who sees the clone thing will be curious and want to go. It's normal to take a look at the production base. Not to mention Jiraiya, who is naturally active. But now that he heard Orochimaru say something so terrifying, he had to give up the idea. No matter how much he teased him, don't make fun of your own life. After some arrangements, Orochimaru and Tsunade finally left the Sound Ninja village. Seeing the two people walking away side by side, Jiraiya sighed helplessly. In this situation, what else could he say besides blessing him? That, teacher, we have gathered, please give instructions. A childish voice sounded behind Jiraiya. Jiraiya turned around, and Yahiko, the brat, was staring at him with burning eyes. Well, great, I'll come right away. Jiraiya didn't stay in Omegakure village, but stayed in Sound Ninja village? Somewhat incredible. But Orochimaru could understand. The reason is not only because Nagato may be the son of the prophecy, but also because of the relationship between the three of them. When Jiraiya was a child, he might still miss Tsunade a little bit. But when he grew up, knowing that the two of them were already together, it would inevitably be embarrassing if he went on a mission with them again. Orochimaru and Tsunade might not care, but Jiraiya himself would feel bad. Therefore, Jiraiya chose to escape. Tsunade was naturally aware of Jiraiya's mentality, so she did not persuade him, nor was she qualified to do so. Jiraiya likes her, wouldn't she know? Obviously impossible. Moreover, he had refused many times and Jiraiya didn't listen. What could she do? You know, if you don't like feelings, you just like them. No matter how infatuated you are with a woman, others must agree to it. You can impress some women through perseverance, but for other women, they obviously have better choices, so why should they choose you? So, this is Jiraiya's problem, not hers. A few days later, in the afternoon. Konoha village Hokage's office. Orochimaru and Tsunade came back to report on the mission, and by the way, they talked about the reason why they stayed outside for so long. Of course, they must have concealed what happened in the Sound Ninja village. Although for ninjas, it is disloyal for subordinates to conceal their superiors, but Orochimaru is not a native ninja. He has no idea of absolute loyalty. As for Tsunade, she has never been one to follow the rules. Coupled with Orochimaru's influence, naturally it will not be reported. After listening to Orochimaru and the two reporting Jiraiya's whereabouts, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but nodded. Now that the war has indeed eased, since Jiraiya has his own choice, let him go. The teacher is very pleased to see you growing up to this point. Sarutobi Hiruzen held the pipe in his hand and puffed out a smoke ring. You guys should have a good rest in the next period of time. Is teacher? Tsunade and Orochimaru turned and left, but Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Orochimaru's leaving figure and fell into deep thought. Orochimaru and Tsunade returned to the village. This time Orochimaru could clearly feel the change in the attitude of the people in the village towards the two. Their eyes revealed envy and admiration. After asking, I found out that the name of Sunin had spread throughout Konoha. Haha, this Sanshou fish Hanzo is really the perfect candidate to gain reputation. Can one fight make him famous in the ninja world? Orochimaru, do you want to go to my house? After leaving the Hokage's office, when the two parted, Tsunade invited Orochimaru. Now the two have a substantial relationship, so they appear closer than before in all aspects. Perhaps just like Jiraiya, as he said, only after they have a relationship can they be considered real boyfriend and girlfriend. Seeing Orochimaru's hesitation, Tsunade directly took his arm. Hehe, let's go. Anyway, you have nothing to do when you go home, so why not follow me? Let's go back together to accompany Shenshu. Rope tree? Ha, that's right, let's go. Orochimaru did not refuse. Because he was alone when he returned home, which was really not interesting. Alone? Thinking of this, Orochimaru suddenly understood why Orochimaru in the original book rebelled against the village. His parents died when he was young, and he had nothing to worry about. The village, for him, there is no sense of belonging at all. It is natural for him to do something irreversible after being guided by Danzo a little bit, right? Tsunade's home is in the clan of the Senju clan in Konoha village. It's not Orochimaru's first time here, but it's been a long time since he's been here. I remember the last time I came here, there were many people from the Senju clan here. But now, except for one of Tsunade's own houses and one of Uzumaki Mito's houses, ordinary people already lived in other places. Thousand Hands are no longer a clan. Even Tsunade's own house looks lonely and a little desolate. Elder sister. Teacher Orochimaru? Ha ha ha, you are back. Before the two of them got home and entered the house, a young man ran over happily. Orochimaru returned to the village, and on the surface it seemed like nothing happened. But in fact, from the moment he entered the village, many people noticed his presence. Among them were Danzo and Uchiha. It's normal for Danzo to pay attention to Orochimaru, because Danzo needs Orochimaru to help him make a comeback. And Uchiha pays attention to Orochimaru? Even if you have ulterior motives. Because they need to understand Orochimaru's position and how close he is to Sarutobi Hiruzen. If possible, they also wanted to use Orochimaru to escape the fate of being suppressed by Konoha. You know, their Uchiha are the founders of the village in Konoha. But such a village founder is always suppressed in his own village. Who can bear this? Therefore, they have been thinking of ways to improve the situation. As for Orochimaru himself, he also focused his attention on the Uchiha clan after returning. The reason is naturally because of the power of the eyes. Before, Orochimaru did not expect that after his fate was changed, he would encounter Nagato, so he did not care about the problem of eye power. In other words, he felt that his strength was enough for the time being, so he was not too anxious about his pupil power. But it's different now, he brought Nagato back. Nagato has a pair of samsara eyes whose power has not been activated. If he wants to activate the power of the samsara eye and integrate it for his own use, he needs to collect a lot of spiritual power to do it. And you have to let your body adapt to the huge mental power first, otherwise the one-time transplant will easily cause physical discomfort. After all, he is not a real descendant of Otsutsuki, but relies on other means to gain strength. Well, put it simply. This is Orochimaru now. If he wants to obtain the samsara eye, he needs to collect the genes of other Uchiha clan and fuse a pair of kaleidoscopes. Orochimaru, does the food not suit you? Why don't you eat? Tsunade's voice interrupted Orochimaru's thoughts. Well, no, I was thinking about something just now. Orochimaru came back to his senses and subconsciously took a sip of the soup made by Tsunade. Suddenly a strange smell was introduced into his mouth and nose. Poof! Orochimaru couldn't hold it back and quickly turned his head to the side and vomited. Come out! This, what is this? Ha ha ha, Orochimaru-sensei, you are so brave, you even dare to drink the soup made by your sister?